Cool Figure TV. Revolutionary salute. Revolutionary salute. Like, share, subscribe. Welcome to the House of Revolution. You know I'm your humble host, the Yao-Mean of Revolution, Poppa Shiesty, the felon informant that's bringing down Gucci Man and Yo Gotti. Before we get into that, y'all be sure to wipe y'all feet. That means hit the like button. You in the House of Revolution? Like, share, subscribe, support the platform, y'all. By now, we all know that the feds done laid a trap for Gucci and Gotti. And they got Poppa Shiesty right in the middle who know everything. It's a trap. Let's find out who Poppa Shiesty is.
Pooh Shiesty was one of the biggest rappers in the game before he got caught up in an alleged robbery and shooting that has him facing 8 years in prison. Before he ever recorded a track or caught a case, his own pops was making moves in the streets and started his own record label. Today, we're looking at the wild story of Memphis legend Mob Boss, aka Pooh Shiesty's dad. Let's get right into it. Lontrell Williams Sr., aka Mob Boss, is a Memphis native from the south side of the city. Memphis is known for its food and music scene, but is also one of the deadliest cities in America. The murder rate is damn near 7 times higher than the national average, and in South Memphis, any day could be your last. The savage environment has ended a lot of lives too early, but it also birthed some of the most talented rappers ever, like Yo Gotti and Young Dolph. Mob Boss is one of those dudes who was born into a bad situation and did whatever he could to survive. Not much is known about his early life, but the first time he made headlines was in 2004 after he was charged with accessory after the fact to a first-degree murder. Rebecca Glenn was a 24-year-old Memphis radio DJ who was murdered and robbed by a dude named Stanley Andrews. According to the police, Andrews broke into Glenn's apartment complex and started knocking on random doors. Tragically, when Glenn opened her door to see who was trying to get in, Andrews forced his way into the apartment and killed her. After the murder, Mob Boss and a woman named Marquita Thomas used Rebecca's credit cards, then helped Andrews sell some of her stolen possessions on the street. And later, they was both charged with accessory after the fact to first-degree murder and forgery. Rebecca Glenn's murder was so brutal and tragic that it shocked the community. Stanley Andrews' sister couldn't believe what happened. She was the one who dropped him off at the apartment complex that night because he was drunk and wanted to see his girlfriend, who was allegedly in the building. Andrews' sister told Action News 5 that he called her from jail and told her what happened, saying, from what he said, the lady, I guess, went off on him or something for knocking on her door. So he just snapped or whatever. But if rumors are true, this wasn't a random attack, but a targeted hit. Andrew's sister said she was shocked by what her brother did and told Action News 5, I still don't understand. I'm still thinking it's a dream because I can never think this in a million years. But after he was arrested, he ain't act like someone who just snapped and killed a random woman. His sister told reporters that he showed no remorse at all. According to rumors, Rebecca Glenn was actually killed over rap beef. Some people say that she was playing music from Yo Gotti on the radio, but refused to put on Mob Boss or anyone else from his label, Mob Ties Records. Mob Boss allegedly put a hit out on Glenn for the disrespect, but there's no real evidence to back these claims up. Yo Gotti was already a Memphis rap legend, but running the CMG label took things to the next level. With a roster full of some of the game's hottest rappers like Mozzie, 42 Doug, ESTG, and Moneybagg Yo, Gotti's become a certified legend. But back in the day, Mob Boss was trying to do the same thing with his Mob Ties label. Pooh Shiesty told Audio Mac in 2021 that watching his dad go hard in the studio helped him get to where he is today. Talking about Mob Boss, Shiesty said, he was on a CEO P type of level. He had his own record label called Mob Ties Records. I saw how they got to get ready to go do shows. I been knew about tour buses and all that, the tour life. I was real young around that time, around 8 through 10, but I was learning how the studio works. I learned where the booth at, how the mic set up, how the sessions work. I was on the road with him when he had shows because he was booked up around that time. Mob Boss had some local success with his music, but never popped off like his son did. One reason his career ain't blow up is that he couldn't stay out of trouble with the law. In 2006, he pled guilty to the accessory after the fact charge he caught in the Rebecca Glenn case and was sentenced to a year of supervised probation. It seemed like he caught a lucky break with the light sentence, but a year later, he was arrested again and charged with being a felon in possession of a firearm and several drug offenses. The story of what
now, as y'all hearing all this about Mob Boss, who is the only person that they have gave a bond for in the Pooh Shiesty case, I want you to understand what's going on here. No criminal history gets you favors with the feds unless you're working. They're giving you a long criminal history of the one guy they just gave a bond to.
What went down was later told during a 2009 probation revocation hearing. Detective Catrell Robinson from the Memphis Police Department testified that he served a narcotics search warrant in July 2007. According to him, The apartment they were searching was a known drug spot that they had been monitoring for over a month. Here's what went down, according to his official testimony. He was the first man through the door, and as he started up the stairs, he saw a man run from the apartment on the left to an apartment on the right. As he proceeded forward, he heard the sound of breaking glass and people saying, "Go, man, go." Then, a massive 75-pound pit bull came around the corner and charged at Cottrell. So he shot it 3 times and then retreated back into the apartment's kitchen. Cottrell knew someone was in the kitchen and told him to come out with their hands up. About 15 seconds later, mob boss came out and was put in cuffs. Then cops saw a broken window and a shoe that was left on the kitchen floor, which told them that someone had jumped out. When they searched the apartment, the cops found 12.5 grams of cocaine, 8 pounds of weed, 2 scales, ammo, equipment to cook crack, and a Smith & Wesson on the couch. They also found $10,000 in mob boss's pocket. During the hearing, Detective Robinson revealed that it was actually mob boss's cousin, Rico Johnson, who was named on a search warrant. According to him, both of them was under investigation, but mob boss just wasn't officially listed. Most rappers just put on a tough image and claim they made it out the trenches just to sell records. But Pooh Shiesty is the opposite of those guys. He really comes from a wild environment and saw his own dad get his hands dirty. That's how Shiesty caught a robbery charge at 11 years old and then his first assault case at 14. Mob boss and him allegedly even caught a case together at some point, but it ain't clear exactly what happened. Mob boss also allegedly has to.
I'm glad he said that because I just seen a picture today and I feel bad for the young man, but he got to turn life around. Pooh Shiesty, at 11 years old, was on an ankle monitor. That's crazy.
Never legendary Memphis drug kingpin, Ronnie Woods, who started the Memphis mob during the crack epidemic in the 80s. Woods basically ran Memphis for decades, operating a massive drug trafficking ring, using car washes and nightclubs to clean the money. Throughout the late 90s and early 2000s, he owned a spot called the Martini Room, where rappers, pro athletes, and drug dealers all hung out and partied. And at one point, he even dated Steve Harvey's wife. In 2019, Woods, his 2 brothers, and 35 other alleged Memphis mob affiliates was all charged in a massive indictment. This ain't the first time Woods has faced a long sentence, but with his past crimes and rep as a drug lord, this could be the case that puts him away for good. Early reports said that mob boss was named in the indictment too, but that don't seem to be the case. Even if he ain't facing legal issues of his own, he still has to worry about his son. Pooh Shiesty was recently sentenced to 63 months in prison, and this week, he got even more bad news. TMZ reported that when Shiesty eventually gets out, he'll be on supervised release for 3 years. That means he can't associate with any co-defendants or known gang members, and his parole officer can search him and his property to check for contraband anytime. He's also been ordered to go through a treatment program for drugs and alcohol. 5 years is a long time to be in jail, but Pooh Shiesty got off pretty easy. At one point, he was facing a life sentence. Then for a while, it looked like it could have been an 8-year sentence. Even though he's locked up, he just dropped his latest project, Shiesty Season Certified, with features from Gucci Mane, Lil Durk, Jack Harlow, and more. Mob boss obviously had a huge impact on his son. Instead of immediately signing with a big artist like Yo Gotti, Shiesty took a page out of his pop's book and started his own label, Choppa Gang Entertainment. The first time he went viral was from his feature on the Choppa Gang track, Breaking News, where he opens his verse up with, "Breaking news, I'm Shiesty, Pooh, taking shit what I do." Shiesty's gritty, raw style is what helped him blow up overnight. And the lifestyle mob boss handed down to him is what gave him the experiences he talks about in his music. He also shouts his dad out on the track Monday to Sunday, rapping, "Spin his block in the caddy, these F&N's black and plastic."
They need this here let you know the feds is dirty. The mob boss with this criminal history of crimes, long, extensive criminal history, is the one person they gave a bond to.
Gladys Razor Savage, they said I shoot like my daddy. Unfortunately, the same things that made him famous is also what led to him getting locked up. Mob boss taught his son how to move in the streets and the studio, but that lifestyle always comes with risk, no matter how much support you have from family. Mob boss is a dude who definitely lived up to his nickname, but now that his son is one of the hottest rappers in the game, hopefully he'll chill out and avoid any more legal trouble. Pooh Shiesty could be granted early release if he don't cause issues in jail, so maybe him and his pops will be back together soon.
Your day-to-day covered.
Lord forgive me for this trap shit. Sergeant Smack make it back.
They're gonna use this fell informant to bring Gotti in.
Frank Matthews, how
The
I
mall
managed.
boss.
Came back like I'm King Tut. Gold BBS is on a beamer. When Fat Cat was 10 queens up. Fall off the profit, not the re-up. Fly like Puerto Rican Jesus. Uptown like I'm Baby May. Just caught a touchdown from the Bay.
Now Pooh Shiesty.
Josh, my nigga up, boy. Them Pooh Shiesty babies, now they gonna be something. We got to do something with them motherfuckers. I ain't, them motherfuckers destroy America. They the gremlins. Now take hating them children of the corn. Them Pooh Shiesty motherfuckers is the gremlins. Y'all, man, go watch the movie Gremlins and see how fast them motherfuckers multiply and destroy. They some violent motherfuckers. You ever listen to that boy lyrics, man?
Yeah.
Say, man, them guys scared the police. Yeah, they scared the police, homie.
Yeah, Memphis, for real.
Pooh Shiesty, man, I don't know why. Who writing his lyrics? The devil? How that boy think of all that shit? As young as he is, man, how that little think all that shit? How he know about all them guns? How he know how to kill the way he kill? Man, that's a dangerous motherfucker. Yeah, but I like that. I ain't bullshit. I like that little.
What do you like, the authenticity or what? Like,
I like his influence. And you can see a meekness to him. And you can tell he the little game related. Just hearing little shit he say. He a different breed of a youngster, homie. He done seen some, he done heard some, and he's sharp enough to articulate it. And it make him real dangerous. Yeah, it make him real dangerous, homie. But he's a force to be reckoned with.
yeah. Like, what do you predict, like, with his career? Because, you know, the energy that those type of rappers give out, you know, you definitely get back.
He ain't just really giving out no. The culture is destructive anyway, right? The hip hop culture, the black culture is destructive and detrimental anyway. So he's born into it.
Rapper Pooh Shiesty is facing prison time after pleading guilty to a gun charge in Miami federal court. The case against Lontrell Williams Jr. stems from 3 shootings during the past 2 years, 2 of them happening right here in South Florida. In October of 2020, prosecutors say that Williams and another man shot 2 men after arranging to buy marijuana and high-end sneakers from them. Then in May of last year, Williams was accused of shooting a security guard in the leg at a Miami strip club. Now, prosecutors say he could get up to 20 years in prison, but attorneys from both sides are reportedly seeking a shorter sentence to roughly 8 years in prison instead.
You know what I'm saying? Like, what was y'all childhood like? Cause I seen you posted this picture the other day. You said, with the gun, you said they threw 12 on me at 11. Yeah. You had the ankle monitor on at 11. I'm like, God damn, this nigga really living like that. You know what I'm saying? So what was your childhood like?
Shit. Wow, I was lost learning is how I got up to her. You know, just like any other kid for real, but I ain't gonna lie, I was just moving around more.
Right. What about your pops and shit? Was your pops around?
Yeah, most definitely. Pop's been around from the start unless he was locked.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's the only time he wasn't around.
Taxes was chasing updates and getting nowhere.
How was your coach to your mom? I think I'm ready to turn into the lead. So, I heard, and your dad too. I think of your back there in your Where are you staying at the moment? Are you still residing in that?
So man, we down here, it's going down. We in Capitol Hill going to see another representative, congressman. I'm right here with Big Mob Boss. We down here for Pooh Shiesty. It's going down. We just got off the phone with Pooh. He's in good spirit. We making some moves. Listen, just stay tuned. We not playing. We've been in here all day talking to how many Congress people today? 11. We talking to 11 today. We already did like 8 of them. Listen, man, it's going down. Shout out to Visa. Listen, man, it is going down. We down here. We not playing no games. Free Pooh Shiesty is going down, man. You see what's going on?
And then, like, one thing about you that's different, we live in a time where as though a lot of young cats, they don't have no strong relationships with their dads.
Mm-hmm.
You and your dad like this.
And I be telling my, like yeah, this like my brother. This my brother dad.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah.
And that's a problem. And Wallow sat there and glorified that. That's foolish, man. His daddy had this man where he was on the ankle monitor at 11 years old. No righteous teachings for him to fall back on. One thing my pops always let me know was we never gonna be friends. I'm your father, not your homeboy. I'm not your partner. And that did me good. I always needed somebody to respect as a father figure. He don't respect his father, no father figure. That's his homie. That's why they in this situation together. But Mob Boss, the federal informant, got to get out of jail free card.
Yeah.
It had to build to that point, though.
Hey, you just burn on everything, huh? Yeah. Nigga say like my brother. That's like my brother.
No, my brother daddy, bro. You know. Mm-hmm. But look, yeah, like I used to tell some of my niggas that, and I used to watch some of my niggas. Some of my niggas didn't even have mamas and daddies.
Mm-hmm.
And it's crazy. They supposed to be right here too. Things be happening, bro. It be just stuff be happening.
But it's a beautiful thing that you take advantage of your father being in your life, man.
Yeah, for
you know what I'm saying?
Cause he could be gone too. He could be gone right now too.
Absolutely.
Growing up, who influenced you to achieve whatever you wanted to do in life? A family member, you can be a rapper.
What you say to it?
Like who just influenced you growing up to do whatever you want to do, pursue and do what you want to do in life? My dad, he promote you, he push your music, he push the with you more down.
Breaking news. Long before the world outside the city of Memphis caught wind of Pooh Shiesty, who would link up with Gucci Mane and sign to his new 1017 label during the pandemic in 2020, Pooh's biggest influence had been his biggest supporter. And there's no doubt his father felt a deep sense of pride watching his son achieve things that he was not able to. But Pooh wasn't just carrying on the legacy as a second-generation rapper. He was also a second-generation gangster.
Yo, who's got next?
The most epic dunks are at Wendy's this March Madness. Dunk a fry in a Frosty and see for yourself.
Adding a teen driver to your car insurance can send your rate through the sunroof. But at Lemonade, we choose not to freak out when we see a driver under the age of 25.
I know what a hustler is. Huh? That's a big that. Don't fuck you do, man. Right. Stick you don't even know. Look out, boys, the feds got your picture. Watch out now, they coming to get ya. Heard about you cooking keys in the kitchen. Nigga snitching. Look out, boys, the feds got your picture. Watch out now, they coming to get ya. Heard about you cooking keys in the kitchen. Nigga snitching. I got it dirty on the block cause I got the whole bird. So how to raise your homie cause fuck what you heard. Niggas using my name in vain, trying to get props. Telling everybody and their mama I done sold rocks. But it's all in reality. I'm keeping mine close. Bulletproof love for the ones that I love the most. So if I'm busting, then I'm busting. You hoes got me cussing. I'm feeling like a Russian, so I'm rushing. Anybody in my path will get dropped. I ain't playing when I said I'm going over the top. They keeping phony motherfuckers gratified with dope. Either money or murder, satisfied with both. You don't wanna see the take 9. Foolish fader, I heard about the deals that you're making under the table. That's why I label you a rat. Your whole flavor's whack. I heard you caught the bird and never came back. I keep a third eye open for these suckers. I'm putting no trucks in these niggas, bitches or cluckers. Yes, right up there, tell something simply to the cracks on my head. I wonder when my brother coming home from the bed. Jealousy is the seed, and I ain't trying to catch it. The streets ain't safe no more. The game gotten hectic. Crosses coming daily. Fools trying to pay me. Who can you trust? And everybody's so sad.
No? Not for real, nothing. Then what was so crazy, like, I be chopping over Pop. Like, that's another thing, too. Like, we need war, like, you know what I'm saying? I'm glad, like, I caught, like, the breed ain't dead yet, but it's the dying breed, like, and I got OGs, you know what I'm saying, to monitor and govern me, like, y'all, my daddy, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a reason, like, why I ain't got to keep bumping my head. Next time I walk out the door, I'm a duck. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Yeah, like I was telling Pops though, man, like, bro, I'm tired. You know what I'm saying? I ain't even got nowhere to. Well, I got places to live, but I ain't got no house. I live on the road, live in a sprinter, live in a hotels. You know what I'm saying? Right. I just need one break. Let me get a vacation. Then right while I was saying this shit, man, this shit happened. Right. You know what I'm saying? Right. Young man hurt.
You know what? Shout out to your dad, my boss. That's my man, man. He goes so hard for you out here, man. Like, and right. he was telling me a story how, man, when y'all was on that road, how it just went from 0 to 60. He said, man, he was riding you, man. He was driving you around the country so much his feet start swelling up, man.
I want to tell you guys about Typeless, a smart voice keyboard that turns your speech into perfect writing in every app.
In 2020, Pooh Shiesty's rise to stardom was accelerated when he was signed to Gucci Mane's 1017 Records. And quickly, he would become one of the most exciting new artists in hip-hop, being featured on songs like Back in Blood. But from the beginning, his father, Lontrell Williams Sr., also known as Mob Boss, would play a central role in shaping not only Pooh Shiesty's life, but his career. And even now, as Shiesty serves his federal sentence, Mob Boss, his biggest supporter before anybody ever heard about Pooh, is still right there in his corner, ready to guide his son back into position. Pooh's arrest would shock a lot of people, as it would happen at the height of his success. But if you knew his dad's story, it probably wouldn't as much. Born in 1999, Pooh would grow up surrounded by music and street life. And while still in his early 20s, those seem like the main two things that had shaped Pooh's life so far. And probably before he knew what was going on, at just 4 years old, he would probably first be a witness to the consequences of street life firsthand when his pops, Mob Boss, would get caught up in a high-profile legal case. Now, this situation will take us way back to 2004, where Mob Boss, along with a female by the name of Marquita Thomas, would be charged as accessories after the fact following the murder of a woman by the name of Rebecca Glenn, a popular radio personality in Memphis at the time, who went by DJ Rebecca Glenn at Q107.5. Glenn would be murdered in her Memphis apartment by a guy by the name of Stanley Andrews. Seemingly picked at random, Andrews would allegedly assault and strangle Glenn after she would open her door. According to the authorities, immediately following the murder, Mob Boss, as well as Marquita Thomas, would be accused of using Glenn's stolen credit cards, as well as aiding Stanley Andrews and helping him to evade capture. Rebecca Glenn, a Bowling Green, Kentucky native, had been living in Memphis only 6 months before she was killed. Mob Boss, 19 at the time, and his co-defendant, Marquita Thomas, who was 21, would both be released on a $100,000 bond and were facing 6 years if they were convicted of the charges. Now, I'm not exactly sure how much time he served on that charge, if any, but I'm almost sure it ended with him being on probation, because just 5 years later, on January 15th in 2009, a detective by the name of Cottrell Robinson of the Memphis Police Department would testify that 2 years prior, in July of 2007, he, along with his fellow officers, would execute a narcotics search warrant at 784 Porter Street, apartment number 3 in Memphis, Tennessee, a location that they had been investigating for drug trafficking since early June of 2007. Detective Robinson would testify that he was the first person through the door during that raid, and he would start up the stairs when he would see a man run from the apartment on the left to an apartment on the right. As he would proceed forward, he would hear the sounds of breaking glass and people saying, "Go, man, go." He would testify that it was about this same time when a 75-pound pit bull would come rushing from around the corner towards him. In defense, he would end up shooting the dog 3 times as it would retreat to the kitchen of the apartment, where it would later die. Detective Robinson would state that he and his fellow officers would repeatedly tell the man that they seen dashing through the apartment, and who they assumed was also the only person in the kitchen at the time, to come out while showing their hands. And after approximately 15 seconds, Latrell mob boss Williams would finally comply with the officers. They would find 12.5 grams of a substance that would test positive for cocaine, as well as 8 pounds of marijuana, 2 digital scales, a box of 9mm ammunition, a Smith & Wesson, and several tools they would say was used to cook crack cocaine. In addition, officers will find approximately $10,000 in cash in one of the defendants' front pocket. The lead detective Robinson would insist during testimony that both mob boss as well as his cousin, a guy by the name of Rico Johnson, were the subjects of their investigation, but he would acknowledge to the court that Rico Johnson was the only name that was named on the search warrant. During the trial, mob boss's probation officer at the time, a female by the name of Deborah Taylor, would testify that he reported that he was self-employed and was the owner of a music business called Mob Ties, and that he had provided her with several copies of his business license, which explained that on July 1st, 2007, but that he never provided her with any proof of income. For some familiar with Memphis's hip-hop scene, besides Mob Boss being on the label, Mob Ties Records would also be the home to a local Memphis artist by the name of Miscellaneous, who would have a somewhat regional hit with a song by the name of Memphis Walk. Though Mob Ties wasn't the intended target of the search warrant, just his presence during the raid will result in his parole being revoked. Not quite sure if it was due to the outcome of that parole hearing, but from my research, it looks like he spent some time locked up in 2014, as it will be some chants online on several social media accounts requesting the government to free Mob Boss. Now, I wasn't there at the time and not quite sure of the movement that they had, so I can't say one way or another whether it was the legal battles that probably stopped Mob Boss from breaking into the music industry. But currently, his son, Pooh, is serving a 5-year federal sentence for firearm-related charges, with a release date set for April 25th, 2026, just 18 months from now. And it seems like despite the challenges they face, father and son, Mob Boss remains committed to guiding Pooh back onto his path the moment he steps out of prison. And though I don't condone the dumb shit, I do condone loyalty. And it seems like no matter if Pooh is going platinum or pulling pistols, Mob Boss is going to be right there supporting him. And shit might be different now, but where I came from and when I came from there, that just means something. Now, y'all let me know what y'all got Pooh doing when he come home. Is the wave going to be over, or is everybody going to be waiting to hear to see what he got to say? Now, if I got any of my guys from Memphis that was hip to the Mob Ties record shit, hip to Mob Boss's music, y'all get in the comment box. Y'all let people know where his status was as far as in the city. Did he even have a chance to make it? Y'all make sure y'all hit the red bell and subscribe button right under this video so y'all know when this real trill spill shit is dropping. Y'all get in the comment box below. Y'all let me know what cities we need to go to, what stories we need to tell, what we missed, what we got wrong, all of that. Y'all make sure y'all tap in with me directly. Instagram, Twitter, POP_A_LOT. And until our next play, y'all know how we rocking. Shades Poppa. Salute the almighty mob.
I'm not really a cupcake, but I am super baked, thanks to Mood Canopy.
Mood is third-party tested, so nobody wins when the family feels.
Pan up, snap.
Life like a movie, I'm flipping through chapters. In 17 months, I done turned to a rapper.
Come on, bro, you gotta get in with me, man.
Music.
On Wednesday, FBI agents raided Williams Cordova's home. His father, of the same name, is also a suspect. Investigators tracked the group using cell data, surveillance, rental records, and bus tickets. 8 of the 9 suspects have now been arrested in a case that has racked up
situation. I don't like it for either side. You know what I'm talking about? Guwap most definitely didn't deserve that, and I don't want to see this for the little homie Pooh Shiesty, but this one niggas got to be educated and understand. In business, you got to negotiate, my nigga. You got to negotiate. If you were signed for $100K and now you got 10 M's on the table, it's time to negotiate. This how we do this. Boom, 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 boom. Everybody win. Let's go. That's how I got to go, my nigga. You can't muscle your way out of no shit and no business. It don't go that way. And I ain't just talking about on the people's side, but on the other side, the blitz gonna come. You can't run from it, homie. That's the way it goes. Negotiate. It's time to educate. I want to see young hustlers from the South win. I want to see it. There was a time I got Gotti and Guwap on the phone together. Us 3 on the phone, nigga. And it ain't nothing to discuss. It was no disrespect. It was no raised voices. Rose just wanted to plant that seed. And I understand one phone call may not fix all the situations, but you want to plant that seed where niggas may be able to move forward one day, get some paper one day. The CMG 1017 tour one day, that was Rose mindset. And I wish nothing but my homies the best. When it come to business, let's negotiate. Niggas can't take the streets to the do. Nigga gonna get a life sentence with that shit bullshit, nigga.
It's crazy. Because what if I told you one of the biggest rappers to ever come out of Memphis had everything most artists dreamed of? Millions of dollars, a major cosign from Gucci, and a CEO standing behind him who helped him turn himself into a millionaire.
Come on, bro, you gotta get in with me, man. So look at your round. Look at your
Get your phone up.
Put my phone on there. Give me a slime. Give my other phone here. Give my other phone, man.
My heart's fine.
I'm only 40.
Ignoring your heart health risk is no way.
Hey, we do here, bro. Give me life, bro. Slime over here for my guy, man. His birthday.
But instead of protecting that opportunity, prosecutors say the situation will spiral into allegations of a robbery, a forced contract, and eventually a federal case. And over the last couple of days, new developments and paperwork connected to the situation has started resurfacing, including documents tied to Pooh Shiesty's father, paperwork that was originally supposed to be sealed, but eventually became public, that the family TV was able to get, which we'll later break down. And once you start reading through that, a lot of people begin asking a serious question. Was this really a robbery, like the internet has been saying? Or was this a contract dispute that escalated into something much bigger? Because when you actually look at the details, the jury people claim Gucci Mane was robbed for doesn't appear to match anything present in evidence. And even more interesting, the night didn't just involve rappers. According to reports inside that glass studio office where everything allegedly went down, there were 2 off-duty officers and an informant present that most people don't know about, meaning some would argue 3 connected to law enforcement inside that room where this situation unfolded, not to mention on camera. So now the story people thought they understood suddenly looks a lot different. Fam, listen, you know a couple days ago we did a story talking about Pooh Shiesty's father and his documented criminal history. We didn't speak on the citizen because that information was blocked from public view. But what the family TV was able to obtain was the plea agreement tied to their case. Paperwork that, according to records, was supposed to remain sealed. And once that information started circulating again, people began looking at the bigger picture. Because when you line the history up with the situation involving Gucci Mane, a lot of questions start coming up. For the last couple of days, the internet narrative has been simple. People saying Gucci Mane has been robbed. They saying chains were taken, rings were taken, watches were taken, and most of all, he told. But when you actually go through the paperwork and the evidence that's been presented publicly, that claim started getting shaky because the jury shown doesn't appear to be Gucci Mane's jury at all. Instead, what prosecutors describe much more clearly is a contract dispute that escalated. A situation where multiple individuals allegedly traveled from Memphis to Texas over business. And that federal complaint shows just that. During that situation, prosecutors say a contract ended up being forced to be signed. Now think about that for a second. Nowhere in this complaint it said Gucci Mane or RD said his blank 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 was taken. But think about this. If you're the CEO of a multi-million-dollar company and someone forces you to sign a contract under pressure, legally speaking, that contract doesn't hold up, which raises a bigger question. If you were Gucci Mane in that situation, what would you do? But before we go over this one, I want you guys to remember, I won't give you no angle. I just give you the story. So with that being said, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. We'll jump right to it.
There ain't a lot of people to come to me with that in my whole life since I was a little boy. You know what I'm saying? When I forget a lot of them, sometimes say, I have never snitched somebody. I never wrote a statement on one, and I never will. That's how I feel. I'm a true G. I never snitch on a nigga. Where we from, we won't do that. For real. This used to allow us all to say, well, niggas I fuck with my crew, we won't do that. We won't snitch on niggas. We stand down for ourselves. Like, if I gotta go, I'm gonna go. I done went before. I don't want to snitch on a nigga to save nobody's life, not even my own. I die if I snitch on a nigga. That's on my mom.
Fam, that was early 2000s Gucci Mane, a man who been through many scenarios to tell, but he didn't. A man who now, 20 years later after that interview alone, still got 1017 to be relevant. Now full-time CEO who rap occasionally. Fast forward to 2026, in a contract dispute with one of the biggest artists in the world, who some say went about things that's similar to Suge Knight and Eazy-E. Now, before we go over that federal complaint in its entirety together, I want us to go back some years prior during the pandemic, towards the end. In 2020, when Gucci Mane had signed Pooh Shiesty, another well-known artist he had signed was Fujiano and Big Scott. Together, they dropped music under the new 1017 and gained millions of views each track.
Whoa. What's that? I just built a budgeting app in Base 44. Guys, Nina just...
I cry me a bag. Took a trip to walk and look like I fell in some glass. Bang, J's up on.
Looking back, you ask, what if? Pooh Shiesty, Fujiano, and Big Scott, all three were stars. But unfortunately, when Pooh Shiesty got arrested in 2021, Big Scott, real name Alexander Woods, unfortunately lost his life on December 22nd, 2022, at just 22 years old from an accidental prescription drug overdose at his girlfriend's house. His family reported the overdose involved prescription pills, and the Memphis Police Department confirmed there were no signs of foul play. May he rest in peace. A love of condolences to his family. But after that situation, things didn't really turn out how the family had expected, because it seemed Gucci Mane and his team had some type of fallout with Big Scar's family. It was alleged that Gucci Mane wanted Big Scar's chains back and only gave $10,000 for the funeral. I let you decide if that was enough or not. But listen to Big Scar's sister voice her opinion on the situation. And I bring this up because some say this may have led to why Pooh Shiesty wanted to stir away from Gucci Mane. Not saying it's true, but it is a fact that these things happen. Mind you, Big Scar's Pooh Shiesty blood's cousin.
That 10K went to a flowers. Flowers high as fuck. We still got a casket. He getting cremated. He getting put up in a museum. Bitches. The bitches would not be able to walk on my brother's grave. He ain't getting put in no ground. He ain't getting buried with no chains. He not getting no chains back. Period. At the end of the day. Fuck them receipts that Annabelle uploaded. Fuck Annabelle. And them receipts. Like I said, we only received 10,000. What the other 10 is, I don't know. But yeah. Yeah. I'm at work with my feet up, making boxes. That 10K ain't did shit but buy obituaries and flowers, boo. This shit ain't here with no obituaries and flowers, boo. 10K ain't shit. My brother was way more worth, baby. My brother worth more than 10K. You bitches can. Quit playing with me. Quit playing with me. Yeah, Gucci sent 10,000, and it was somebody else on another 10. So it was 20,000 in all.
Now, another situation that happened is when Pooh Shiesty was free. A comment Gucci had wrote in response to Big 30, 375-1017. Gucci Man responds, Cap, stop posting me, dude. We met once. Either way, they made up. Gucci Man and Big 30 had their music together after that.
Like TLC, 223 shells out the G. No one gonna take care of me the way that I take care of me.
That's why some say the Big Scar situation is more believable, because prior to the robbery in January, Pooh Shiesty was posting a lot of Big Scar in his story, reminiscing. Some say now, looking back, may have been sending clues. Now, another person people are pointing out before we get into this federal complaint once again is Pooh Shiesty's dad, Lontrell Williams Sr. Now, we're not going to go over the situation that happened in 2004 with the DJ because we talked about it in the first video. I'll leave the link in the bio, like I said once again. But we are going to go over his plea agreement in that case, and why he only served 2 days for that case, which was for a murder and an R, according to what prosecutors say, fueled by his animosity towards the DJ for not playing his music, instead playing Yo Gotti's music, allegedly. Now, during this time, Pooh Shiesty's dad did get arrested. But because his homie went to trial and he wasn't placed there, they couldn't charge him with the murder. They did charge him with the drugs that were seized at the time of his arrest. And during that time, even though it wasn't murder, he still agreed to be an informant for the feds. Now, fam, before we move forward with the rest of this story, we got to slow down and really break down something that most people skim over when they look at federal paperwork. Because buried inside a plea agreement is something that changes the entire conversation. And that's a potential 5K1 motion. Now, if you ever dealt with the federal system, a 5K1 might just look like another number in a document. But in federal world, that number means everything. Let me break it down. First off, the defendant in this case, Lontrell Williams Sr., agreed to plead guilty to multiple counts involving federal drug conspiracy laws. Those are serious charges that typically carry heavy federal prison sentences. We're talking about charges that can easily land 10, 20 years, sometimes even life, depending on the circumstances. But right after the plea selection, the agreement introduced something very important. It says the government may recommend a reduction in his sentence under United States Sentencing Guidelines 5K1. What does that mean? In simple terms, a 5K1 is a cooperation deal. It means that the defendant has agreed to provide substantial assistance to the federal government, and that assistance usually involves helping prosecutors build a case against other individuals. Now, that help can come from several forms. Sometimes it means providing detailed information about drug operations, suppliers, or co-conspirators. Sometimes it means helping investigators understand how a criminal organization operates, who is involved, where the drugs are coming from, and where the money is going. Other times it means actually testifying in court or in front of a grand jury against other people involved in the conspiracy. And in some situations, even help investigators make recorded calls identifying other suspects or confirming evidence investigators already have. But here's the key part most people miss. The plea agreement makes it clear that none of this guarantees a sentence reduction. The document literally says the decision is solely within the discretion of the government. In other words, prosecutors are the ones who decide whether the cooperation was valuable enough to be rewarded. And if they believe the defendant provided real help that actually led something that leads to investigations or prosecutions, then they can file a motion asking the judge to reduce the sentence. That's what a 5K1 is. And looking back, he got 4 years of supervised release, and that was it. So apparently, they felt his information was enough to get a reduced sentence. And the feds, that's what they call black and white, proving if a person is an informant or not. And this is what we can call, quote unquote, being a snitch, if you living by that. So let's continue with the story. Fast forward to the first week of April of 2026. Senior had a bond hearing for the federal pickup alongside his son and other 8 alleged CG members. Pooh Shiesty got one on the 8th. I'll keep you guys updated on that. But now at this point, people want to know. We got all that squared away. What about Gucci Mane? Now let's go over this criminal complaint in its entirety. I waited some time before dropping in the morning to see if the feds will actually drop the indictment. Now, I'm sure Pooh Shiesty didn't ever know his father was a federal informant, which is crazy because hours before the robbery with Gucci Mane, he allegedly went to Instagram and talked about his paperwork spoke on standing on business on not being an informant, which would make sense. Some would say that's why he was allowed by his dad to do that to someone help his son become a millionaire, despite how we feel about his contract.
It was an indictment, so we got indicted twice, nigga, so they smacked us with more charges, nigga, thinking that shit would break us or make us, nigga, conspiracy to possess firearms in front of the drug trafficking, violent crimes, nigga, 3 other sided niggas you will ever see, nigga, name on a piece of paperwork, nigga, bankroll, D-roll, nigga, these niggas solid, nigga, nigga. We kept it G. We traumatized about this shit, my nigga. For real, nigga, I really went through it. Nigga, you nigga better watch our mouth when y'all say a nigga name, cuz I was facing 20 plus or 20 plus another 20 plus life, nigga. Never told it, never folded, nigga. All my shit add up, nigga. Yeah, nigga, every page add up. You see 1 through 10 on anything. Stop playing with a nigga name, nigga made, nigga, for real. You nigga don't know the half of this shit or what's really going on, nigga. Yeah, my paperwork 4,000 pages long. I go all day with this shit. You niggas don't know what really going on. You know what you see on the internet.
As of now, they haven't. Now, looking back at the situation that took place on January 10th, 2026, as mentioned, just weeks after FDO is charting #1. It seemed like before, Pooh Shiesty and Gucci Mane, even though they didn't come out publicly, wasn't on no odd terms. But you have damn near 2 feds in it. One was a federal informant in Pooh Shiesty dad, and Gucci Mane security, who's even an ex-officer or was an off-duty officer at the time of this incident. Now, fam, with this complaint, we're not going to paraphrase. We're going to have to read in its entirety because it tells us what the eyewitness is. It also told us who the initial conversation, what happened. But I want to point out something. Now, according to these blogs, these people not only stole Gucci Mane one of his wedding rings or bands, one of Gucci Mane's watch, one of Gucci Mane pendants. The Gucci Mane went on Big Facts a couple months ago before Pooh Shiesty came home and was excited and talked about how he don't come out with at least an M on.
Listen, everything I buy be $1 million now.
Right.
The watch gonna be $1 million. The chain got to be $1 million. The rings got to be $1 million. If I would brought my other rings on here, y'all couldn't even see.
At least a deal.
Yeah, I couldn't even see.
Second video. None of these pieces looks like Gucci Mane pieces. I found my stand correct. It was damn near 3 officers in there, at least 2 technically. They say at around 1 p.m. on January 10, 2026, the victims flew into Dallas, Texas, alongside RD's head of security, hereinafter referred to as CW, and other security officers, hereinafter referred to as TD, for a scheduled business meeting between RD and suspected Williams Jr.
The feds gonna trap mob boss Poppa Shiesty and Pooh Shiesty. Okay, y'all didn't do the robbery. Oh, then it was y'all co-defendants, the other guys who committed the robbery, right? Well, then Pooh Shiesty, Poppa Shiesty don't have to testify. It was the other guys.
Now, assume RD means Radrick Davis, Gucci Mane, and Pooh Shiesty for Williams Jr. They say Pooh Shiesty wanted to talk to Gucci Mane or Radrick Davis or RD about his contract and wished to be released. He said around 1:45, CW and TD, the 2 officers and the victims, arrived at the scheduled meeting location, a music recording studio located within a larger office building. When CW and TD and the victims entered the office building, they realized the recording studio, owned by an individual hereinafter referred to as JN, was closed. So when they got there, they realized the studio was closed. And they talked to JN, who confirmed it. While they waited for the studio to open, the 5 went to a liquor store and purchased liquor in plastic red Solo cups before returning to the studio. Williams Jr. father, Williams Sr., called JN multiple times on the day of the meeting, which was the owner of the studio. At around 2:53, JN answered the phone and learned that Williams Sr. was attempting to book the recording studio that afternoon for Williams Jr. and RD to record music. At or around 3:15 p.m., JN opened the music studio for RD, MM, BP, CW, and TD. So, according to Pooh Shiesty's dad, they went there to try to do music, assuming it could have went down outside the studio as well. Investigators later collected and reviewed surveillance video captured at another business located at the same office building on the same floor as the recording studio, which shows Williams Sr. outside the office building. At around 3:27 p.m. on January 10, 2026, it appears that he was speaking to someone on his cell phone before entering the building at 3:28. At around 3:39, an employee of the studio arrived to assist with production. When the employee arrived, Williams Jr. and Williams Sr. were standing at the back door of the office building, engaged in what appears to be an argument over the phone. At around 3:43, Williams Jr. and Sr., Wright, Johnson, Waiters, Roger, Gibson, Glover, and McDaniel entered the east side of the office building. The target suspects walked through the lobby area of the office building before going inside the studio. One individual with the dreadlock hairstyle, later identified as Gibson, can be seen on video exiting the building and shortly thereafter returning with a bag slung over his shoulder. Wright, also known as hip-hop artist Big 30. The 9 individuals entered the studio control room, where inside, victims were watching a football game. CW was positioned in the studio lobby, while TD remained in the vehicle they arrived in. Depicted below are photographs of the studio lobby. The police claim the victims overheard Williams Jr. talking on a cell phone, potentially with a probation officer, stating that his caseworker had given him permission to be out for rec time. So Pooh Shiesty knew. His probation officer already knew where he was at. From what the victims could hear, Williams Jr. was informed that that wasn't the case and that he needed to return immediately. Williams Jr. agreed. Williams Jr. was wearing an ankle monitor, leading the victims to believe that Williams Jr. was on house arrest. RD told Williams Jr. they could reschedule the studio session, but Williams Jr. requested to speak with RD privately in the attached recording room. RD agreed and entered the recording room with Williams Jr., Williams Sr., and Wright. Meantime, BP remained in the control room with the 6 other individuals and continued to watch the football game. BP offered to share the liquor they purchased with the targeted suspects, and at least 2 accepted, grabbing red cups and making a drink, assuming they all was cool and incoherent, fam. Inside the control room, Williams Jr. produced purported contract terminations or release papers from a bag and told RD to sign them. When RD declined, Williams Jr. became agitated, and the pair started to argue. So it wasn't a robbery out the gate. and BP could see inside the recording studio initially believed RD and Williams to be discussing business. But as saw the conversation intensify, he texted CW, who was still in the music studio's lobby. As the argument inside the recording room ensued, Williams Jr. instructed Wright to get the bag. Wright complied, leaving the recording room before returning with the bag, which is Big 30. Williams Jr. then pulled what appeared to be a black AK-style pistol from the bag and pointed it at RD, demanding again that RD sign the contractual release paperwork. RD complied, signed the paperwork for Williams Jr., while Williams Sr. and Wright stood by RD. RD couldn't leave the room. But here's how police got that evidence. They claim Big 30 pulled out a cell phone and recorded RD signing the paperwork while being forced to say that he released Pooh Shiesty from their contract. After the release was signed, Williams Jr. took RD wedding ring, watch, earrings, and cash, according to that recording. After RD signed the contractual release paperwork, Williams Jr. provided the paperwork to Williams Sr. and asked if the paperwork was good. Williams Sr. advised that the paperwork needed to be dated, so Williams Jr. then forced RD to add the date next to his name. As RD, Williams Jr., Williams Sr., and Wright exited the recording studio, the remaining subjects, Waters, Rogers, Johnson, Glover, McDaniel, and Gibson, produced handguns or AK-style pistols and began demanding property from BP and BP was pushed into the couch in the control room, while the individual known as BP as CMO, Dan Fu, and part of Williams Jr. and crew, later identified as Roger, searched his pockets and stole his wallet. BP's chain and necklace, bearing their moniker 1017, were stolen from the neck, and another subject he knew as Glizzy 375, later identified as McDaniel during a robbery. McDaniel repeatedly threatened to shoot BP for moving, but Williams Jr. instructed McDaniel not to. BP further identified an individual he knew as Baby Slime 375, later identified as Johnson, as being involved in the kidnapping and robbery, and that during the control room robberies, Johnson possessed a firearm and held BP and others at gunpoint. Both and BP identified an individual they knew as KD, later identified as Waters, also being involved in the kidnapping and robbery, possessing a firearm and holding them at gunpoint. MM and BP identified them. MM was choked from behind to the point of nearly losing consciousness during a kidnapping and robbery, resulting in scratches on his neck and wrist below. MM was robbed from his Rolex watch, a Louis Vuitton bag containing multiple other high-dollar watches, Apple AirPod headphones, and his wallet at gunpoint. MM confirmed the Louis Vuitton bag, AirPods, and wallet each had Apple AirTags on them, a location tracking device. As the altercation inside the control room ensued, Wright walked over to the studio door to the lobby, closed it, and blocked it with his body, preventing the victims from leaving. CW and TD, the victim's security guard, watched Wright barricade the door and attempt to force their way into the control room, but were prevented from entering. With handguns drawn by CW and TD, managed to particularly open the door, but recognized that they were outnumbered. They said RD was pushed into the couch in the control room, causing the victims to believe they were going to be executed. Williams Jr. placed the barrel of the firearm to the back of BP's head and ordered him and RD to leave the control room and the studio through the west entrance of the office building. RD then instructed CW and TD to escort them to their vehicle. As the victims left, MM turned to Williams Jr. and asked him if they were really taking his watches. Based on later recovered surveillance footage, the targeted suspects left the studio and the office building through the east entrance at around 4:48 p.m. Exterior surveillance video recovered from a neighborhood building showed a white Buick Enclave and a black Dodge Charger Hellcat and a black Dodge Ram within distant road affixed to the bed of the truck traveling northbound shortly after the kidnapping and robbery. According to law enforcement database, Wright father, also known as Rodney Wright, owns a 2020 Dodge Charger Hellcat bearing Tennessee license plates, which was shown on camera at around 2:18 in Dallas-Fort Worth. So it's clear as day. The information that was given thus far was from the officers who was with Gucci, who saw everything from outside the room. I'm a parent because it was glass doors or glass windows or glass walls, but couldn't get in because guns was drawn on them. Now apparently Big 30 and the homies he was staying with stayed at a Comfort Inn. They end up stealing a black Dodge Charger Hellcat from that Comfort Inn on January 11, 2026. In return, they got all a surveillance footage in and outside that hotel. And that's what you see. They ain't come in at. They know about the alleged robbery based on what the police saying they saw and on Big 30 recording. But when it came to identifying the target suspects, they say MMBP and RD all personally knew Williams Jr. by both his legal name and a name under in which he performs Pooh Shiesty. Tag this Instagram account. They say JR, MM, and RD describe Williams Jr. as wearing a black Nike brand Shiesty mask, black hooded shirt, and black pants during the offense. An online search of Williams Jr. matched the individual depicted throughout Pooh Shiesty. Here's that photo. They identified Pooh Shiesty during the offense. The victims identified senior Instagram account Mob Tabs Global. MMBP and RD all identified Wright as a well-known hip-hop artist known as Big 30. MM and RD identify his Instagram account as CEO Big 30, which is verified by Instagram. MM and BP identified KD. BP identified Dan Fool. MM identified Glover, who had this Rolex and this 1017 chain. By the way, Rogers was just arrested. He was the one with this Rolex. BP identified Baby Slime. I'm saying you knew Pooh Shiesty and Big 30 after it was forced to contract. We can all just assume that was Radrick Davis. That's one thing. But telling the police they robbed you is another. Because police told us at the very end on page 30 of 32 pages on who identified Lontrell Williams Jr. And when they were speaking on him, they spoke on RD in third person. They said eyewitness accounts state that Williams Jr. brought RD into a recording studio and demanded that RD sign the release contract at gunpoint before taking RD's wedding ring, watch, earrings, and cash. Eyewitness accounts also placed Williams Jr. in the room when the additional kidnappings and robberies of MM and BP occurred. Cell phone records, electronic locations, monitoring, and surveillance footage placed Williams Jr. at the offense location. Electronic location monitoring data also places Williams Jr. at a Staples location with his father, believed to be printing the termination contract prior to arriving at the offense location. Eyewitness accounts and state when it came to Senior, they saw him in the studio when the offenses occurred. Williams Senior assisted Williams Jr. in producing RD's signature on the purported contract release. Surveillance footage from the day of the office shows Williams Senior entering the building, unmasked and later exiting the building carrying a backpack which he believed he did not enter. Surveillance footage and eyewitness accounts placed Williams Sr. at the offense location following the offense wearing similar clothing to what the suspects in the kidnapping and robbery appeared to be wearing. No other information about the jury type, the video released, or exactly what was took from Gucci Mane. Only what the feds could recover. Guess y'all take that from there. Since then, Big 30 attorney has spoken and said the following.
He's been making music for a number of years. He and Pooh Shiesty kind of came up in the music game together, and they were sort of like
Big Chuck.
They're very close, and they made, some magical music.
On Wednesday, FBI agents raided Williams Cordova's home. His father, of the same name, is also a suspect. Investigators tracked the group using cell data, surveillance, rental records, and bus tickets. 8 of the 9 suspects have now been arrested in a case that has racked up lots of attention.
I just hope that people will wait to pass judgment on Rodney and these other individuals until all the facts come out.
And if convicted, all 9 defendants could face life in prison. There is a scheduled detention hearing for Wright, or Big 30, tomorrow at 2 p.m. before his case is moved to Texas. In the studio, I'm Lauren Turman.
He doesn't have a criminal history. He doesn't have a criminal record. He's been making music for a number of years. He and Pooh Shiesty kind of came.
Imagine that. Big 30 has no criminal record. He's never been in trouble, not even a parking ticket. But his mob boss, Poppa Shiesty, the felon informant, that gets the bond.
Up in the music game together, and they were sort of like, they're very close, and they made, some magical music.
On Wednesday, FBI agents raided Williams Cordova's home. His father, of the same name, is also a suspect. Investigators tracked the group using cell data, surveillance, rental records, and bus tickets. 8 of the 9 suspects have now been arrested in a case that has racked up.
I peeped what they tried to do. I made a video earlier. They baited Gucci. Poppa Shiesty baited Gucci. They wanted Gucci to do what T.I. did. You feel what I'm saying? Get with that off-duty police officer. Order some guns. Order some hits, my nigga, and get wrapped up like T.I. did and go straight to federal prison. He wasn't going to get no Crime Stopper video like T.I. No, Gucci was going to go down for putting hits on people, trying to get guns, but Gucci didn't do that. But that's what they wanted him to do, make the T.I. mistake.
Up lots of attention.
I just hope that people will wait to pass judgment on Rodney and these other individuals until all the facts come out.
And if convicted, all 9 defendants could face life in prison. There is.
Your Gotti lawyer say, man, y'all just need to wait for the facts to come out first for y'all judge this young man. We ain't judging Big 30. He ain't never been in trouble in his whole life. Why he don't have the bond that Poppa Shiesty, the federal informant, got? They do need to tell us that. The
scheduled detention hearing for Wright, or Big 30, tomorrow at 2 p.m. before his case is moved to Texas.
It's Pooh Shiesty, because the street code. Y'all, I'm not in the streets. I don't give a damn about none of that nonsense. All the street niggas. Is Pooh Shiesty supposed to cut his daddy out? Because daddy was when did Pooh know his daddy was in federal paperwork? How long did Pooh Shiesty and their crew know that mob boss Shiesty was a felon informant?
Texas. In the studio, I'm Lauren Turman.
He doesn't have a criminal history. He doesn't have a criminal record.
Not to mention, Pooh Shiesty's dad had managed to come home on a $250,000 bond on house arrest, only allowed to leave the home to go to court. As far as everyone else, seemed like they behind bars.
So the man with the longest criminal history, we already looked at him earlier. Longest criminal history, federal criminal history. That's the only dude got a bond?
And Shiest's gonna have to pay for his attorney, his dad's attorney, his co-defendant's attorney. Look out for his family. All while his music still going to the man he allegedly robbed. Now, fam, I know that was a lot, but I wanted to give you guys full context so y'all can feel how you feel about it, but get how I feel. I want you guys to be able to make an honest decision based on the facts presented. And when an indictment comes out, that's when we can find out the statements being mentioned. With so many eyewitnesses, we don't know who really told the police that they took something from Gucci. Because what if in actuality, they didn't take all those items? Or what if it was the other person who was in there? Or what if it's the officers? What we do know is the items that was shown was not Gucci's. Was not mentioned what items of Gucci described in detail other than what an eyewitness think was stolen from Gucci during the process. Is that telling? Saying you know a person who forged a contract to make sure it's evident before any information come out about an alleged video that contract was forged and deemed useless, which nouns mean Pooh Shiesty is still signed to 1017. And if that statement wasn't mentioned, the little statement other than I know who that was during this that was Pooh Shiesty and Big 30, all this could have happened. Yeah, Pooh Shiesty probably would have got caught, but he probably would have been out of 1017 as well. Let that sink in. Let me know how you guys feel about this one in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And today, I'll catch you guys on the next one.
Right? If there's a lack of people who are going to actually explain the conspiracy here, Dirk has a small chance, right? He has all the money for the lawyers. This is where you start getting to niggas through their families, not on some violent shit, but yo, make sure so-and-so's mom's or auntie's mortgage is paying. You know what I mean? Make sure that's paid, that they could, when they get on the phone with their nephew, they could be like, yo, yeah, you're not telling, are you? Not that it will matter, but it gives the best chance for Dirk, right? Dirk only gets sunk by cooperators, by people who are going to get on the stand. This is the reason why he's been trying to separate his case, that they can't use other people against him. It's a whole plot. We're going to see how it plays out. It's going to be very interesting. I'm going to tell you with this case, and let's do an actual, again, I'm not an actual legal analyst, but shit, we pretty much play one on the stream, right? I think we do a good job, and usually even lawyers, if you didn't see my interview with Drew Finland, the $1 billion lawyer, the one that's now representing Dirk, and the one who represented, he represented Young Boy, got that great deal. They've also said, hey, Ack, when you do your legal breakdown, you've done good. You're usually pretty accurate with the conclusions you're coming to, with understanding what's being filed, and and not only motions, but the ways of attack of whether it's a defense attorney or a prosecutor. So I do thank him for giving me that, slight credit. So we kind of want to look at this complaint, and then we're going to get to the first court hearings, which was today, right? No, it wasn't today. Was it today? No, it was yesterday. It was yesterday. Sorry. But the paperwork is filed today. Sorry. So here's the complaint. Now, I'm going to give you the pros and cons, and then I'm going to sum it up. So rock with me. Here's the pro, here's the con. This complaint comes down on March 30th for an incident that happened on January 10th. Well, the pro is this. First of all, just this doesn't seem like it needs to be a Fed case. Yes, they did travel from Memphis to Dallas, which means it technically could be a Fed case. It's now affecting interstate commerce. However, this is just kidnapping and robbery. States prosecute that as well. Why not keep it in doubt? Secondly, also pro, it's clear, and you'll read it in the indictment, that Dallas police was called. They came at least in a day's time of 24 hours. They were able to grab fingerprints, which means they did respond to the scene, yet they made no arrest. That's a pro. So despite, no matter what they got, they still didn't feel it was time to arrest these individuals. Keep in mind, Pooh Shiesty is already on home detention. It's not like this guy has no priors. He's on home detention after serving a multi-year sentence for a felony that he was incarcerated on. They could have just picked him up, bang, right there. So it's a pro that they didn't. Why? Maybe it's not as cut and dry. Maybe it's not that cut and dry. We get to find out that they have to subpoena phone records, triangulate stuff, Hertz, all of these things to kind of really paint a good picture. What does that say? And that's where the feds came in. That said, this case wasn't just open and shut. What's the con? I'll tell you what the con is. The con with the case being filed at this time hints that possibly after being released on a halfway house home confinement situation, the feds were kind of either following or somewhat monitoring what's going on with Pooh Shiesty. Why do I say that? Well, if state police or local police, Dallas police, it does say Dallas police. So Dallas police, they came in, they got the fingerprint, they did whatever.
Feds knew they had the perfect inside man to work on the Gotti and Gucci case. The fellow informant, Poppa Shiesty.
They get tapped really quickly like, no, we're the feds. We're taking this over. We want the case. We got the case now. Interesting. So the fact that the feds got on the case that quickly, maybe they were waiting already for Pooh Shiesty to fuck up. They were waiting. So as soon as they catch him with a fuck up, they get at Dallas police. No, we got the case. And that stops the arrest. Because the state ain't putting that much resources into, he doesn't even live there permanently. He doesn't even live in Dallas permanently. So, like, if they have a kidnapping case or, like, he pulled a gun on somebody, they'll just lock him up right away. Why do a months-long investigation when the nigga don't live there the whole time? Like, again, it's not a well-reported crime. There is no murder. It's basically kidnapping and robbing. Yes, big deal, but no one is hurt. Okay. Well, people did get choked out. I'm sorry. Apologize for that. So the feds, I think, was on Pooh Shiesty already. Clearly, they're watching him on the fucking GPS ankle monitor thing, but I think they wanted to nab him on the next time he slipped, which was this. So I think they took the case over early. Okay, cool. So that's the pros and cons of the date, right? So right now, we're just at the date of the filing. There's some things that work for him, things that don't. Things that work for him, again, I'm repeating myself, look like them showing up the day or the next day wasn't enough to kind of get the whole story or get the story to make it make sense to make charges immediately. They essentially have to get a bunch of things way later on, and the feds even have to take over. But the cons is the feds were probably already on him, and once the feds take over, it's not a good thing. Especially when you got a song out saying, first day out, nigga, fuck the feds, right? Okay, let's keep it going. Now, okay, it's a criminal complaint. All right, they state when it happened, Northern District of Texas. Now, this is another thing we got to talk about. So they're saying that the defendants, all 9 of them, are in violation of this code of the U.S. Or basically federal laws, right? Which is the offenses kidnapping and conspiracy to commit kidnapping. Now, I normally don't do this, but we're gonna. Fuck, give me 1 second. 18. We're gonna look up the statute on that too. Okay, here we go. 18 USC 1201. Okay. Here we go. So it's A and C, right? So whoever unlawfully seizes, inveigles, decoys, kidnaps, or abducts, or carries away and holds for ransom or reward any person except in the case of a minor by a parent. Okay. And when, basically one of these are done, which is any acts, blah, blah, any acts, blah, blah. Okay, whatever. Okay, the person is willingly transported, Okay, all right. The person's, all right. So basically, it's just kind of like picking out what could be kidnapping. Technically, they're saying you can't kidnap your own child, right? Like, that's why they kind of mentioned the parent thing. So basically, once you confine someone in a situation that they can't leave, that's it. Okay. And there is some transportation of yourself or the person across state lines. That makes it federal. So then it's C, which is if 2 or more people conspire to violate this. So this is a conspiracy part. So 2 or more people conspired to violate this. One or more persons do an overt act to effect the conspiracy. It should be imprisonment of any terms for any term of years or for life. So the conspiracy, and most conspiracies in federal court, or not, well, most conspiracies, period, usually has an open-ended sentence, because with a conspiracy, that might include a range of crimes, right? It might include even murder. Okay. All right. So bet. So now, and also kidnapping is punishable by death, but they won't go for the death penalty with this. Okay. It won't be. So both of them hold life in prison. Now, why did I show y'all that? I'll tell you why I show you this. And this is another pro. I'm gonna give you a pro and con again. The pro for, well, let's start with con. The con is clearly both of these charges Pooh Shiesty's facing life. He's a guy who just did 5 years. He's facing life. He's clearly not a Boy Scout. He's a well-decorated criminal. He's someone who shouldn't be around a gun, shouldn't be around members or gang members or other people with a gun. And he's pretty much violated everything, and also spat in the United States court system and also the Bureau of Prisons by doing this crime while he has an ankle monitor on. That's bad. That's the con. Here's the pro, I do think. Here's the pro. The pro is, at least in this criminal complaint, we don't know what's going to happen once. There's probably going to be an indictment, and we don't know if there will be a superseding, but there'll probably be an indictment at some point. Indictment means a grand jury, which most felonies, in the land, they don't want an officer just sending you to trial, even though the charges were kind of affirmed by the magistrate, but usually they like to have a grand jury indictment. Otherwise, you could appeal these 2 individuals' decision. If you get what I'm saying, you could appeal their decision of charging you. So you usually get a grand jury, and unless it's Dirk is trying to do it now where they're saying procedurally they presented info they shouldn't have known. Usually you can't really say the grand jury who chose to indict you, they're wrong, right? So that's usually the way of the land. Anyway, just a procedural note. So now we're here. What's the pro? And I know you're saying, there ain't no fucking pro with this one. It can be a pro. There is a pro. I do think there's a pro when looking at the charges. So in looking at the charges, I'll break down what I believe is the pro. The pro is that as part of the story, and we get the story in the complaint, we've heard it from the U.S. attorney when he did the press conference. One of the big things that they said is that not only was Gucci prevented from leaving, these guys were held at gunpoint, i.e. the kidnapping, right? They're claiming the conspiracy. We're going to get to that because, they're going to have to prove that. But they said Gucci was robbed of earrings, rings on his fingers, a wedding band. There was chains took, Rolexes taken, and other things of significant value. There is no charges that actually represent that. Okay? Now, why, you might be like, why is that a pro? Well, that goes into the narrative, but I feel like if they have overwhelming evidence to prove it, they would have made that charge too. The Fed's not saying, we already got him with a kidnapping, don't give him the robbery charge. They're not like, giving niggas a break like that. What probably happened, and we're going to find out the more this case comes to light, I have a sneaky suspicion that they didn't find all the shit that were robbed. Somehow, in which maybe I'm not calling them good criminals because there's no good criminals. I think that this criminal complaint, and it might come later because the raid, remember, they couldn't have found none of this stuff. This was written up before the raid. So this was written up the 30th. So this complaint is the 30th. They get the search warrants. They hit it on the 31st. No, on the 1st of April. But here's the thing. The reason why they do it that way, they want to find the things that were stolen. Where's the Louis V backpack? Where's the watch? Where's the wedding band? Where's the fucking chain? Where's the Rolexes? That's what they need, because it's hard to charge someone for robbery if, number one, how much proof do you have the items was taken? Secondly, by those people. And third, if we've never seen them again. You get what I'm saying? So there's a pro in currently is a pro for Pooh Shiesty with the charges. It's only, and I know it sounds crazy, but it's only kidnapping and conspiracy for kidnapping. There's no robbery charges yet. Okay? Now, the thing with conspiracy for kidnapping, I think there's like an enhancement for like robbery, I believe. Or some people might be like, well, remember we talked about this with the Diddy case. Usually in federal court, you need 2 situations for it to be RICO, right? You need 2 crimes, like 2 first-degree felonies. So kidnapping and robbery would be 2 first-degree crimes, right? But I think it also means it also needs 2 different instances too. So it might not actually qualify for RICO. But anyway, the point is there is no robbery on this, which is good. Okay? For now. Now, I do have a sneaky suspicion. I think there's going to be a robbery charge after the indictment if they found stuff during the raid. But there's news on the raid that I'm going to get to. Actually, let's get to it now. So, of all the people taken into custody, the first person that went to court was actually Pooh Shiesty's father. And in an interesting turnaround, Pooh Shiesty's father gets a bond. You know, everyone's talking about this is life in prison, life in prison, life in prison. They give Pooh Shiesty's father a bond, and it's $250,000, and he gets to go home and be on house arrest. So he's going back to the crib. Now, granted, it's probably because of the purported role that's outlined in the complaint that made the judge feel that way. If you don't know, the indictment claimed that the father seemingly didn't know. His participation was only kind of looking at the contract and saying, nah, that's not going to count. He needs a date next to his signature. And apparently they described the father as kind of like an unwilling participant. Like he did not want to do it. Like he was, he was trying to not have it go the way it went, right? And because of those kind of mitigating factors, they have given him a bond. So he went to his bond hearing today and he did get a bond. Okay. So give me a second. So yeah, he did get a bond.
Pop's gonna have to testify against his son then.
Here we go. Wait. Okay, here we go. So he got a bond. And I want to read the court's order here. I have the full court order on what they have said about Mr. Lontrell Williams Sr., aka Mob Boss. So apparently, this is what it was written. So they appeared before Magistrate Judge Annie T. Christoph, okay? And it was a removal or detention hearing for Lontrell Williams Sr. Greg Wagner appeared for the government, AUSA, and Howard Wagerman. So now we're getting a little bit on their lawyers. Howard Wagerman, lawyer. All right, my computer just froze. I like it. Perfect. This shit just really froze. Okay. It legit just froze. Okay. All right, here we go. All right. Sorry, chat. Howard Wagerman, lawyer. So this is a guy who is the lawyer that is representing the father. Okay. Now, this is very interesting here. This is very interesting. The case is out of, so this particular case, chat, is out of Dallas. So just to get, I got to break this down for y'all. The federal case is out of Dallas. That's in Texas. Pooh Shiesty was already in Texas, so they got him in Texas. Everybody else is in Memphis. They arrested them in Memphis, but they got to bring them to Dallas. So usually what happens, everybody usually gets, this is what normally, unlike these serious things, Usually everybody gets a no bond, right? Because number one, Tennessee, right? That's where Memphis is. Tennessee, they're getting told that in the district where Dallas resides in Texas has a case. So you usually say you can't get out of jail now. Go to Dallas and figure out if you'll get out of jail there. However, not going to lie, according to what's listed here, okay, so Greg Wagner appeared for the government. This guy who's a Memphis lawyer, so he works in Tennessee, but he works in district court. He appeared for the defense. And the defendant in custody, defendant was in custody in court. Okay, he waived the identity matter, and there was some witnesses. Okay, so the witnesses were the FBI agent who probably tracked him down and arrested him, and also the defendant. So he had his own witnesses. So I guess it was like really like a detention hearing, right? He had a friend. Kayron Jones, Delvin Lane. These are all the people that appeared at his like hearing today or yesterday. He had his child's mother. Yeah, he had like 6 people show up. At the conclusion, the court found probable cause, but they did grant him bail. He signed and explained, and apparently his bond is set $250,000 to be secured by cash, $25,000 by cash deposit. So he's going to pay that to the clerk, and the clerk ordered the case to be stayed through Monday. And okay, so this is kind of like a difficult thing to understand, but I'm gonna try to explain it a little bit better. So his father got bond, but he can't take bond right now. So the case is stayed until they have another hearing for removal. That's the extradition hearing. So he has a bond, right? But it's a hold on him because there's another hearing to see if he's going to get sent to Dallas, which of course he is. But if he doesn't get sent or that hearing doesn't happen next week, he'll be able to post bond. They're going to send him to Dallas. So essentially he has a bond in Tennessee, but he can't take it right now. He got to go through the hearing of, is he going to get sent to Dallas? He'll get sent, and then they're going to create a new bail for him there. But it is in his favor that they already gave him a bail. So they already offered him a bail in Tennessee. It is likely that he could get offered a bail again in Dallas, right? One judge already said he's qualified for a bail. So maybe he's having a detention hearing on Monday. He just got to stay in custody, go to Dallas, have a hearing there. And at that point, he's going to plead not guilty, but he will look for bail. But they have a big leverage to say, well, Tennessee was going to give us bail. Okay. So that's the current thing on him. He's still in custody. However, I do think it's a big W for the outlook of this entire Pooh Shiesty situation. Obviously, this might not affect Pooh Shiesty himself that much, but his father does have a bail, right? He has a bail. Can't take it up right now, but he does have a bail. Apparently, he's in the custody of the U.S. Marshals, and they're going to, keep him until Monday for that hearing. Okay. This is his father, mob boss, and this is Shiesty right there. Apparently, these two are like they're almost like big brother and little brother. Like this is a video of them, kind of like flexing on live. Check this out.
Big size, but big bullshit. You know that. I think this shit can go for my last name. Real talk. This shit doesn't go my last name. Bullshit. The good way though, like we ain't like not the plucking bullshit. On bullshit like this shit could be my name. Bullshit ass wood.
All right, he puts the father on live.
Got on there. What's up? They talking. What they talking about? Like what they talking about? We were what? 13 deep and 13 chapters. Eat the chap out. What you got going, CEO? Pop this shit on one time. Let's show him a little something. You ain't got to do too much.
No shit, man. I just went and bought me a new computer. I just went and bought me a new motherfucking setup, man. So I I just got to go to work.
I just bought one of them. Shit, I just bought the whole studio. I got the whole studio on the back seat.
Yeah, I see y'all doing all this stunning shit on the camera, man.
My pop your shit one time.
One time, yo. One.
We didn't have shit like this just to be on our head.
One time,
Yeah, they.
Come on now, you know how we came out. You know how we came out like that. We just came out like that.
You, man.
What you got going on there? Ooh, what you got going on?
I don't think you ever see. Oh, you got nothing over there. I don't think so.
I don't think you got nothing over
there. You can't spread it.
Man, Mom ball.
Mom ball. I know how to spread.
Hold up,
Hello.
We the richest shit in the city right now.
For the God, man, we the richest. We the richest label, man. Who you want to sign to, me or Pop? We got Mob Time in top. We got we might sign to both. Oh, yeah. All right, come on.
We doing y'all about to put that little bit of ass shit up.
You know we are going to the giant. Look though, but check
y'all
it
want me to
out.
go all the backpack?
Whatever you want, you better stop before we break this shit out for you.
Us to do that. You know we can hold this shit that I know.
Oh shit, my bad. Oh shit. Oh no. See, yo, y'all be acting. No, you know what I was saying? I was like, yo, listen. The more I watch this, is the more I realize why this nigga said, yo, your daddy a killer, but you just like Bronny James. Because in reality, if y'all don't know, my boss, which is Pooh Shiesty's father, the guy he's on the lower screen that he's flexing with, that nigga's like Del Curry. Pooh Shiesty just like Steph Curry. So it's like, his daddy was that nigga, but Pooh Shiesty, that nigga. So they both on the same type of timing. This is gonna sound mad nigga-ish. I ain't gonna lie, but I just gotta be honest. Obviously not if you're doing crime, but it kind of look cool if you and your pops kind of like, you know what I mean, playfully flexing, right? That's kind of cool, right? Like him and his pops is kind of having some fun, right?
If he can hold in our hands, it ain't nothing. Send me there half a ticket check.
Yo, pops, I just got a new computer, man.
Let's show you my neck pillow.
This shit was easy, though.
My new car, man. Don't do too much.
I'm gonna go to the bank too, though. I'm gonna go to the bank.
Oh nah.
You finna go to the bank? We already in the car. Look how we open our door.
Yo, they flexing with they pops, yo.
Yeah, we open our doors and shit, man. We can't get out.
We can't even get out the car,
right? I want to tell you we broke it. Free out.
Hold on, I got a little light little something in my pocket too.
Yeah.
Oh
That's
shit.
what I want to show, bro. Oh God, my little pocket. But you was
Yo, I see why. Like the more you watch about Pooh Shiesty, you kind of see why like he thinks the way he thinks. Like his father kind of like him.
Hello.
This is what I keep in my pocket. This is all I got.
I ain't showing them, Pop. They deserve it.
I'm gonna put all this shit in the bank, man. I'm gonna break out the card, man. I'm walking around with a card, so don't try me.
Man, when they see that motherfucker black is Samuel Jackson, they gonna know what's up. They black cards pop out. We finna push up though. It's overstood.
Okay. All right. Now, so we get to find out the father got bail. That's good. Again, the way how they're describing this case, like these guys are just menace to society, right? The father, shout out to that lawyer from Tennessee. You know, he gets arrested. Well, he gets arrested on the 1st. He gets his hearing on the 3rd. They bring in 6 people, including his baby mama. They all testify. They kind of break down the complaint a little bit to say, come on, like, what did the father do? That judge gives a bond. He can't take the bond yet because there's still a detention order they can't override until they go through it, which is going to be a Monday. They're going to send him to Miami, but at least he was given a bond, $250,000 home confinement, which hopefully, in his case, he'll be able to take up when he get there. Okay, let's keep it going. So let me play this. Okay.
Federal kidnapping.
Here's an update too.
Kidnapping and assault case is moving forward against 9 people, including 2 Memphis rappers, Pooh Shiesty and Big 30. So during a hearing that's been going on downtown Memphis right now, a judge just decided that there is probable cause to move forward. Now, this is actually some video from the outside of the courthouse before the hearing started today. Federal prosecutors claimed that on January the 10th, Pooh Shiesty, Big 30, and 7 others forced one of the victims, who's only being identified as RD, to sign a release from a recording contract. Prosecutors stated that the label involved is 1017, which is Gucci Mane's label. His real name, by the way, Radrick Davis. They believe the group also robbed and assaulted 2 other victims. Defense attorneys for at least 4 of the co-defendants have argued that the evidence does not implicate their actual clients. The federal kidnapping and assault case.
Okay. All right. Now, we're getting through this. Once again, if you guys haven't known, there does exist some surveillance footage. Now, this is going to be the interesting monkey wrench part. And this is why, I know this is why exactly when it comes to things like this, you guys come to me that we're going to give the best breakdown possible. So they have some CCTV video here, right? They also have some pictures of the studio. But we get to realize this FBI agent that did this investigation may have, what Jay Main say, overwhooped it. I'm gonna tell you why. Because we saw pictures like this walking out the hallway that leads outside, and we saw pictures of the inside of the studio, though we saw nobody in those pictures, we thought, oh, there was mad cameras. They got everything on camera. We found out today, chat, that apparently when contested about some of the evidence they claim to have, the government actually claimed they don't got nothing on camera. No cap. They actually just said they got nothing on camera. They actually admitted that they don't have concrete evidence that puts these guys dead to right doing this. And it's going to bring up the most important thing. So keep in mind, I want to walk you guys through this whole thing again. Shiesty and them, right? And I think I forgot to play this, but the feds have a timeline. We've done our own independent timeline as well. And what we found out is that if you guys don't know, at around noon/1 o'clock in Memphis, no, not Memphis, sorry, in Dallas, Pooh Shiesty posted this video seemingly responding to WAC 100. WAC 100 was on Clubhouse. He appeared on my program and a few other programs, and he's been saying for months, Pooh Shiesty, Pooh Shiesty, Pooh Shiesty. He's not good. There's work on him. We got to work. We got Bompton. We got whatever. And he said that, pointing out that there was a proffer in Pooh Shiesty's last case. And if you guys don't know what a proffer is, a proffer, sometimes they call it Queen for a Day. Sometimes it's basically where you have a sit down with the feds, and in that conversation, whatever statements you use cannot be used to prosecute you later. Now, my opinion on a proffer, I'm a civilian, so I'm gonna say it doesn't matter, but it doesn't mean you're snitching. But in the streets, you're not supposed to say nothing to the cops, don't even say your name. So in the streets, it's like snitching. Do I think Pooh Shiesty's, and I'm going to whack it a little bit. Do I think Pooh Shiesty snitch? No. Why? If we look at the case he was incarcerated for 5 years for, he was incarcerated for a case where they go buy some stuff, like some sneakers and some weed or whatever the case is. And basically, they ended up shooting some guys. Okay? Now, the victims cooperated that got them even arrested. right? What Pooh Shiesty and his co-defendants did, all in, like, they were all in line doing, so they all agreed to this. They basically said, all right, we'll take the plea and say we did do that, but our thing is that they had weapons. That's why we shot. So they were trying to make this self-defense argument, right? Now, the streets are really stupid, right? And this is why I ain't gonna lie to you. I think this is why I believe Wack is one of the most powerful people too, because I think Wack has a way to put street niggas in a position that your only option is to die. And we'll say real nigga, but you're dead. You know what I mean? Like, there's no other way. So Pooh Shiesty through his lawyer, and that's where Wack got into a back and forth with Bradford Cohen. It was about this idea of, did Pooh Shiesty snitch? Now, some people said, wait, how could he snitch if he's doing the time? All of his co-defendants all agreed to the same story as him. They're all cool. No one is saying he snitched. But Wack was saying, well, you told because you shouldn't have a proffer with the government. And in the proffer, which Wack did send over, and it's an actual proffer you could look at, Pooh Shiesty basically asserts in the proffer that based on all the events that happened, it basically said, yo, we were defending ourselves. Me and my niggas was defending ourselves. We thought they had guns, or they had guns, right? Keep in mind, the guys who they're saying had guns because they're trying to say self-defense, they never got charged. Now, I've always said this about Wack's theory on this. This is why I said a street nigga has to die, because if someone runs up to your house, right, your op runs up to your house, you pull out your gun and smoke him, right? He tried to up it, but you faster with on some K-Flock shit. You smoke him. When the cops come, you can't tell the cops, hey, he pulled out his gun, so I shot him. You got to say, figure it out. To me, that's stupid. If it takes that level of stupidity to be a street nigga, well, whoop-de-doo. But that's how Wack, like, kind of interprets the street code. And I think in Wack's street code, self-defense doesn't exist. So telling the cops that you did a crime, or you did a crime with your friends because you felt you were defending yourself, is actually telling. So that's what that was about. Wack went up against what do you call it again? My man Bradford Cohen. And then Pooh Shiesty came afterwards because the conversation became cyclical. He posted paperwork. So let's look. Wack 100 versus Bradford Cohen. And we've had Bradford Cohen on here. I really like Bradford Cohen. That's my guy. Here we go. No, it's not 4 years ago.
What's good, y'all?
It's not 4 years ago. Nah, it's not 4 years ago. This was like a couple of By the way, yo, shout out to Drill. Drill came up with his name by himself. I feel like I should have came up with his name. They're calling Wack Patel. You know how they got Cash Patel, the FBI director? They said Wack Patel. Now it's going. Wack Patel, the FBI director. Okay. Let me look it up. Bradford Cohen, Pooh Shiesty. I don't know if I could find it. He posts a lot, so I'm just gonna see if I can find it. Pooh Shiesty's lawyer. Can I find it? All right, let me just look up Pooh Shiesty. People might not know his name. Pooh Shiesty lawyer. Let's look. So Bradford Cohen. Okay, here we go.
Pooh Shiesty, Lontrell Williams gave up no one. Absolutely no one. We never cooperated with the government whatsoever. The paperwork that he's reading is that our defense was that we blamed the alleged victims, that the victims were trying to hold up and rob Pooh and his crew, and that's why the guns came out. The victim said, I don't have a gun, I never owned a gun, and through our investigation and the evidence, we found not only did he own a gun, he had a firearm box in the trunk with ammunition in the trunk. Both of these alleged victims were total liars, totally full of shit. And that's why instead of getting 10 years, the judge gave him under 5 years for a shooting case. Not because of any kind of, he cooperated. He didn't cooperate with shit.
They never cooperated with the government. The victims say we ain't had no guns, but Pooh and you proved they did have guns.
So Wax thing is saying, by you claiming the victims had guns, you told the victims never got charged, and them saying that the dudes had guns was them trying to have a defense of why they're shooting people. Oh no, we're defending ourselves. So basically, as a street dude, you can't say you're doing self-defense. You got to just say, figure it out and go to jail. I love the streets, man.
Because of the information you gave on them to prove they had guns is the reason Pooh didn't get 10 years and got under 5. And you say you didn't cooperate, and you calling me a moron. We're going to run that back one more time.
Yeah, I actually don't agree with Wack here. I don't agree with Wack.
Lawyer calls Wack 100 a moron. Another grown
100. Let's talk morons. Wack 100. I can see where he gets his name because he is whack. The allegation that Pooh gave up information in this case is so idiotic. Even when he's reading it, DJ Academics is saying what a moron he is. It is next level how stupid he is. Now, if we're saying he's just doing it for clout, if we're saying he's just doing it for views, I would think, okay, that's an excuse. But it really isn't. I really do think he's very stupid. So, long story short is Pooh Shiesty, Lontrell Williams gave up no one. Okay. Absolutely no one. We never cooperated with the government. See my clock in the back. You know what time it is. Took the plea and the judge.
Okay. All right. So Wack went back and forth with Pooh Shiesty's lawyer. Now, that still didn't, you know when Wack really sinks his teeth into something, shit starts getting even more. So now it's just not going away, this Pooh Shiesty thing. And I'm not going to lie to you. One of the few times I've spoken of Pooh Shiesty, I remember when he was locked up. And you remember Pooh Shiesty writing these long-ass paragraphs about how he's doing his time and holding his head, and he really does care about his street reputation. I remember I did speak to him a couple of times while he was locked up, and his only thing was he would die before there's smut on his name. He wanted everybody to know that basically what he told me was like, yo, I did what I did, and I'm taking my time, and I'm holding my head high. I don't want nobody to say nothing about me. And I'm not going to lie, like, it felt like he was almost like really, he was looking at the street shit like it was a league. You know what I mean? Like, I wonder what he really thinks about people telling him. But he was looking at like, you ever watch The Wire? My name is my name. Like, he was going crazy with it. So anyway, he gets out. Wack goes back and forth with his lawyer, but it's still little questions. And he gets on live and he does this on January 10th at 1 p.m. 2 hours before they get to the spot to rob Gucci, he does this.
Supersede indictment, man. This the indictment out the original indictment. So we got indicted twice, nigga. So they smacked us with more charges, nigga. Thinking that shit will break us or make us, nigga. Conspiracy to possess firearms in front of the drug trafficking, violent crimes, nigga. 3 other sided niggas you will ever see, nigga. Name on a piece of paperwork, nigga. Bankroll, D-roll, nigga. These niggas solid, nigga. These niggas solid, nigga. We kept it G. We traumatized about this shit, my nigga. For real, nigga, I really went through it. Nigga, you nigga better watch our mouth when y'all say a nigga name, cuz I was facing 20 plus or 20 plus another 20 plus life, nigga. Never told it, never folded, nigga. All my shit add up, nigga. Yeah, nigga, every page add up. You see 1 through 10 on anything. Stop playing with a nigga name, nigga, made, nigga, for real.
Your daddy
nigga
told
don't
me
know the half of this shit or what's really going on, nigga. Yeah, my paperwork 4,000 pages long. I go all day with this shit. You niggas don't know what really going on. You know what you see on the internet, you content creating ass niggas. Supersede indictment, man. This the indictment out the original indictment. So
okay. And if you're wondering about the timing of that, if you look at this, says Pooh Shiesty goes off. I posted it around the same time he did, January 10th. Okay. So he basically left, and maybe this gives a setting of his mind state. He's already a little bit pissed off that people online is talking shit about him. You get what I'm saying? But he goes from, maybe he was at his apartment, then he goes to the studio. All right. All good. Now, let's get to this. And this is the latest update with the case. Let's get into it.
Ron, thank you. Now to a new development tonight in the arrest of Memphis rapper Pooh Shiesty. He and 8 others are charged with kidnapping rapper Gucci Mane. Shiesty's father, Lontrell Williams Sr., and another Memphis rapper known as Big 30 appeared in federal court today. Action News 5's Caitlin Miller was in the courtroom in downtown Memphis. So, Caitlin, fill us in. What happened today?
Yeah, Joyce. So they're actually still in there. But what I can tell you is that a special agent from the FBI, Marcellus Hobbs, from the Dallas Violent Crimes Task Force, took the stand. And defense attorneys for Lontrell Williams Sr., Pooh Shiesty's father, and Rodney Wright Jr., also known as rapper Big 30, asked Hobbs a key question. Is there any hard evidence, like video surveillance, showing either man possessing a gun or threatening anyone? And Hobbs said no. He also testified that no concrete evidence was found in Wright's car or Williams' homes when they were arrested. But even so, the judge ruled there is still probable cause.
Okay. What did you just hear? So in the court testimony yesterday that established bond for, and this is why there is bond for the father, the government has now said they don't have video of these guys having a weapon. There's no video of these guys supposedly forcing anyone at gunpoint to do anything. Now, remember, there's this thought that Big 30 had recorded it. That might have just been a narrative said by one of the people who cooperated.
Now, if what they saying is so, then Big 30 supposed to get the bond because he has no criminal history. Mob Boss, the felon informant, has extensive criminal history. Why Mob Boss, the felon informant, is getting the bond and not the guy with no criminal history?
But do they have the video? They haven't said yes yet. Now, granted, they probably just seized phones, right? Because, Big 30 hasn't been arrested yet. He wasn't arrested till like yesterday. Who knows if he still has the video on his phone, right? Does he have it still in the iCloud, right? So they're looking for that video. We're now getting told there's no video in the booth. There's no video in the studio. So there's 2 places there's no video at, which is going to be what is necessary to make this case. Also, there's no video that shows them having a gun walking out. So every time they're walking out, yes, I will say it goes, and that's what I'm saying. It's more supporting a robbery than a kidnapping because supposedly when they're leaving, they could see the Louis backpack on the guys. Like, so the Louis backpack taken from the camera, they could see it on the guys who took it. Also, there was an air tag in the back. They could follow that and see that it was tracked along with the car leaving. But the big issue here is, what evidence do you have that these guys held Gucci at gunpoint against his will, which is kidnapping? What evidence other than, these guys went there and they left and, they took a Greyhound, maybe not a plane, that you feel is now a conspiracy, right? That everybody agreed that this is what we're going to do. Like, how do you know someone agreed? Now, the point here is this. Either the government was overzealous and they're really relying on, and this is where the last part comes in, the cooperants, because essentially there's 3 people that gave statements and CW, who is the cop. Now, I keep hearing about the cop. Let's talk about the cop right now. Everybody who keeps saying, Gucci didn't say nothing. Gucci didn't say nothing. He don't got to say nothing. The cop is with him. You guys didn't read the indictment. Or not the indictment. You didn't read the complaint. We went over the complaint here. The cop cannot be an eyewitness for things that he said he was not in the room for. Let's say that again. The cop cannot be an eyewitness for things he says he was not in the room for. The cop said he was in the lobby with TD, another security guard. The only time and the only actual eyewitness the cop has is the cop when they are pushing into the door and they look in. He says he has his gun drawn and he looks in and he sees other guns. So the cop actually saying there were guns, that's going to weigh somewhat. However, is it enough that a guy who basically never went in the room, never went in the room, wasn't in the room present for all the conversations, doesn't know how things happen. He was in the lobby. Is his solo his opinion good for a conspiracy of kidnapping charge and a kidnapping charge for 9 people? So for the people who say Gucci didn't tell, this case, if I want to be honest with you, is only made by him telling. Now, I'm not saying Gucci's cooperating because I don't think Gucci's going to cooperate. And I'm jumping ahead here. I think now it's hit the press. Everybody's saying A, B, and C about Gucci. Listen, Gucci's career as we would know it and the thought and the memory of his legacy will be completely tarnished. I don't think Gucci's going forward with this shit. They can't force him. He's a victim. They can't force him. So, but I do think Gucci's name had to be on the complaint to make this a thing. It had to. The cop claimed I was not in the room. So you need witnesses who were in the room. You need the victims. Gucci was one of the victims. So his name is on the paperwork. Now,
that's the difference between Jay Prince and Gucci Mane. You'd have never took no meeting like that with Jay Prince. Even Irv Gotti, even Supreme McGriff told you when Supreme went to meet Jay, it 50 niggas in there. He like, man, it looked like he was on a rec yard in prison. There's so many goons in everywhere you walk. So little bullshit like this don't happen.
Is there a body? I'm not going to get into, oh, no, we got to see a video of him. Hey, Gucci's name and Gucci's statement was needed to get these guys arrested. What a grand jury is going to do, a grand jury might say, hey, listen, they might say to the prosecutor, hey, could you bring the victim in here? Now, is Gucci going to cooperate? Now, again, all of this is cooperating to some extent, right? But will Gucci continue now that he's getting severe backlash? Will he continue? Will he continue, y'all? Because if he continues, he might have to go testify to grand jury that might say, hey, listen, you know, we want to know what happened because were y'all just having a heated argument? Did you say, hey, I want to leave? Did you show intent you wanted to leave? Did someone hold you? Did they tell you to get down? Did the dude really block the door or he's just fat as fuck and he was standing near the door? So that's part of the indictment process for a grand jury. You might want to talk to the victim. Hey, come on in here. That we could ask you some questions. Is Gucci going to do that? I think not. I think not. So if you ask me what's going to happen, this is going to go down like the Young Thug statement in the back of the car. Maybe it happened. Maybe it didn't. However, usually, you know, what people universally see as snitching is being on the stand and these type of things get forgotten. So I kind of have a thought like this. This is my thought. If the cop who was an off-duty cop cannot provide subsequent info to guarantee that this happened and none of the victims end up cooperating, they beat this case. This case didn't go nowhere. They don't have anything. They don't have it on video. From what we're hearing so far, they didn't find any of the items stolen. All they have is initial statements from Gucci to Dallas police. So I guess, I guess the off-duty cop probably called. I don't know if it's an off-duty cop from Dallas, but he called his buddies. They came through. They're probably talking. I'm not sure if they're like, Gucci write a statement. Maybe they're just talking to Gucci and Gucci's telling them like, nah, Shiesty that did that, whatever. And maybe they just write it up as that, right? I'm kind of giving them a little out, but I am going to be shocked if Gucci takes his stand. I don't think Gucci's saying, I think this is going to get thrown out. I know everybody's saying he's stupid, but I think hip-hop has done the hip-hop stuff already. There's so much pressure and so much shaming on Gucci today. His whole legacy is in shambles that I don't see Gucci taking a stand. There's nothing that he serves to gain. Gucci's not being charged with a crime. He's not being indicted. Why would he, again, you could say Pooh Shiesty's stupid, but there's no incentive for him to actually cooperate with police to get Pooh Shiesty locked up. Number one, let's put it in perspective. Pooh Shiesty Pooh Shiesty got record amount of streams today. You know who's benefiting from it? Gucci Man. Gucci's gonna make money off his catalog. He's not out the contract. Gucci could just sit like how Thug doesn't like Gunna, and Thug is making money hand over fist over Gunna. Gucci's gonna do that. All right, go ahead. Yeah, we'll kind of do it like that. We'll work with the label. We'll act like you're not in 1017 no more, but I'm getting a fucking check off of that shit. I'm gonna pimp you legally. I'm gonna really pimp you. I'm gonna play hardball through the label. Or, you know what's gonna happen? He's gonna have the label try to restructure it, give Gucci a bigger portion of it, and they take a lesser portion, but at least they're getting, trust me, it's the same thing happened with Thug and Gunna. But for the people who are thinking, oh, they're just all going to jail, I was surprised that in a detention hearing that they did have to establish some probable cause because it's a complaint. It's a complaint, not an indictment. The prosecutors literally admitted, oh, we don't got this shit on video. Oh, we don't got them walking out with the guns. Oh, we don't got no videos of them with the guns. Huh? It now makes sense. It makes sense why it took them. It makes sense why it took them 2-3 months to actually get the indictment. Because they had to go back and, oh, let's go to the cell phone company and triangulate and figure out if they, okay, let's prove that they were in the area. Nigga, it's 4K video right here, motherfucker. We don't got to prove you were nothing. Right here, nigga. This is you. You got a pimple on your face. Right here. You with the acne. The big nose bitch over there. None of that. So that's why they had to do all the extra shit. Oh, yeah, we're tracking his ankle monitor. We're tracking this. The AirTag brought us over here. And I'm like, that's good. But usually when you getting all of that, you don't got him too dead to rights. That's the problem. So I think today was a win for, or yesterday was a win for Shiesty and them. What's going to happen is that Shiesty, if he's smart, he's going to deploy all his lawyers. I see a few of the guys who got locked up. They got, what do you call it again? They got public defenders. Shiesty needs to sub out all those public defenders immediately. Get a lawyer that's going to listen to your lawyer. Everybody needs to shut their fucking mouth. And I'm going to be honest with you, this is going to sound scary. Based on what the cop said, if I'm Shiesty, I'm gonna roll a dice and say, remember I said yesterday or 2 days ago that it was gonna end the plea. I roll the dice and say, if we're going down, Gucci Man got to get up there and look us all in our face and point at us and all calls a snitch. And I don't think that's happening. We're gonna roll that dice. We just need the guys to shut the fuck up. We ain't saying shit. Everybody gonna say the cop. Cool. The cop didn't see the whole thing. It's in the complaint that he got texted after basically they're shouting at Gucci in the booth, yo, it's getting tense in here. And they still didn't come immediately. When they finally came, it's barricaded. So the cop, all he could say is what he heard, what he think.
All of what Axe saying doesn't matter. The one thing in this case that matter is, was Gucci forced to sign that contract? I made a video on this. If Gucci Man gangster enough to say, no, a gun was not put to my head and I signed that contract, then Pooh Shiesty finna get out that motherfucking contract and he finna go over there, Gotti. The Fed's gonna throw this case. I'm telling you, they gonna throw this case out if Gucci wanna play crazy, bro. But they mean business on ruining that gangster image. They don't like hip-hop, nigga. They not finna let Gucci Man leave out of here as no gangster, all that. No, nigga. You gonna get Pooh locked up in his crew and you're gonna be known for doing that, or he gonna lose that contract. Tens of millions of dollars gonna go down the drain for Gucci. He can be a street nigga, or he can be a nigga who up 30-40 millions off the fucking dumb move them niggas tried to pull. But if Gucci Man won't play street, the feds letting him know we will throw this shit out, nigga. Was a gun put to your head or not, nigga? Because if it wasn't, that man Pooh Shiesty is out of that contract, bro.
Things. They push the door and they see for a little bit. They see some guns. They said, never mind.
They're not finna play with Gucci.
I think Pooh Shiesty got a good chance. If hip hop is gonna shame Gucci into suicide, I'm gonna tell you the truth. Like, it's even if Gucci was mad at the moment and he probably said to the cop, man, I can't believe them niggas did that to me, man. That's a bitch ass nigga Shiesty. Man, it was Shiesty, Pooh Shiesty. Like, maybe he said that to the cop. He's been chilling now. He probably back on his man's cooling out, whatever. This hip hop is on his ass. Every rapper and their mama done hit me and be like, tell me this is fake. People look up to Gucci like he's a fucking superhero. So I don't care how much medication he's on. He's going to kind of look around and say, it's not about right and wrong, chat. It's about what you could prove in this situation. I'm not getting up on that motherfucking stand. No, sirree. And if Gucci don't get up on that stand, I think that Shiesty ain't going nowhere. Honestly. Keep in mind, when you're proving this kidnapping, there's so many things that have to be established. Like, it has to be a story that gets told pretty much while proving the crime for the prosecutors. What's the motive? What's the backstory? Yo, did Shiesty call you before and be like, yo, bro, yo, nigga, if when you come here and we meet and you don't do this, I'm gonna do that. Has he threatened you before? If Gucci does not help with the narrative of what they need, this shit falls apart. It's like having a case without a Cassie. It's having a case without a Daphne Joy. You need the person there. Now, granted, we're going to look at the white cameraman. No disrespect to white people, but, I could imagine, the funniest part of the indictment was when the white cameraman said, after they done robbed them, and they're all leaving now, the white cameraman said to Shiesty and his hooligans, you really going to take my watches, bro? Bruh, the robbery's done. It's like he expected them to say, oh, man, I was just joking around. Come get this shit, man. Here you go, man. Take this fucking bum-ass watch. Just take that watch, bro. Just take that watch, bro. No. So I think he might be the person. He might be the person. Now, keep in mind, when Dallas police showed up, he allowed them to take pictures of his hand, back of his neck. There's no pictures currently in the indictment of Gucci or DP. Right? Is it DP or BP? BP. That's what they put in. BP. I think that was it. It's initials. There's no pictures of them. I think this case is way far from being over. Obviously, we all reacted to it because it is stupid to get this type of roadblock or this type of speed bump while you're on a generational run. It's just behavior that you would associate with an imbecile. But I'm realizing there's a lot more that we gotta evaluate. Gucci has not spoken about the robbery prior to the arrest. He never officially responded when there was rumors that he got robbed. And he has not responded since the arrest. I look at it from what's the path of least resistance and what is the path that is more beneficial for Gucci Man. And I believe him not cooperating, I think people will forget that maybe he told the cops initially. It's like Thug. Like, that cop ain't making up that Thug told him about a murder in the back. They didn't make it up. What cop is just making it shit up? But that seems informal. When a nigga got to put their own hand writing on a paper, that seems real. When a nigga got to take the stand with everybody looking at them and the fucking microphones in front of them, and they say, all right, now sit up now. Do you see him in the court? Could you please point at him and you're handcuffed and you got to go like this? Yeah. So I think Gucci will have a chance to walk it back. And if you ask me, I'm anticipating him walking it back. Now, this is where it's going to be interesting because walking it back is going to be, he could come out and say, yo, I ain't never tell the cops nothing, they're lying. Now, that's going to blow up the whole case. Like, if he comes out and says that. If he comes out and says, I never told him nothing, they're lying. blown up the whole case. I do think maybe he's in a slightly interesting position because the off-duty cop that he hired, and I will say this is a warning for all y'all gangster rappers who hire off-duty cops. If an off-duty cop is working and moonlighting as a security guard for you and they see a crime, they are obligated to report it. If they don't report it, they could lose their job. So now, if a situation like that happens, especially, I'm pretty sure the cop was thinking, and apparently the cop was the person who reported it. Especially he had to draw his gun. He probably thought he had to use his gun maybe at a point. That didn't happen. They fell back and he just had to allow them to leave. He sees injuries. If he doesn't report that, he probably could lose his he probably could get in trouble or even arrested. So he reports the crime, and I'm pretty sure he's looking at it at a situation where he's like, yo, I get it, you're a gangster and everything, Gucci, but bro, that's what I'm saying about gangster rappers. Don't hire a off-duty cop if you want to keep it in the streets. This idea, and I hear so many people in rap with this, keep it in the streets. You hire a cop, you're going to be keeping it. You're going to be keeping it in the paperwork, man. You're going to be keeping it in the police report. Yeah, that's where we're keeping it, in the police report. We're keeping it in the police report. We're keeping it in the investigation file. We're keeping it in the case file. That's it. So I do want to say I felt it was slightly idiotic. And I don't know, we don't know what Gucci Mane's demeanor is to being involved in this, and people, calling him, I don't know if we should say out of his name, because if you did it, that's not out of your name. That's who you are, right? But out of your name, obviously I see we had Rollo on here. Rollo doesn't really want to, like, yo, the Gucci snitch? Everybody's like, I've been asking. I sent out an Atlanta group text. Hey, Atlanta, hey, is Gucci a rat? Niggas is like, yo, who you got for the Final Four, bro? Oh, nobody want to talk about it. And I understand. I do. I understand. But at the end of the day, either cooperated. I'm actually like, and I love Gucci. By the way, I'm gonna listen to Gucci music no matter what. I don't care what people say about it. But I want to put out a warning for a lot of these. Let me tell you this: 8 out of 10 gangster rappers move around with off-duty police. I remember when I got into it with me and Meek Mill. Meek Mill got mad at me for posting him in Philly when he went to a hood event and some shit happened, and they like pushed him to the backyard, and it was 4 off-duty police surrounding that nigga like he was the Pope, nigga, with their guns drawn in the hood. And I said, oh, shit, that's Meek. Those are off-duty police. He got mad at me for that. He did. He got mad at me for that, respectfully. And, it was interesting because he's like, he told me one thing. He said, well, later on he told me one thing, but this is what his team told me. It was like, yo, bro, he's on probation. He can't be having situations where guns are pulled. And I'm like, he's with the police. Like, the police pulled the gun. It's not like some other, it's the police. But I had a sneaky suspicion that was a narrative he didn't like. You have the guys who say they kill people that hire the police officers to escort them to the hoods. Like, that's what happened. So Gucci's rolling with police. It's funny because when you listen to hip hop, they're like, yo, 6ix9ine police, man. But you're being protected by police. So I do want to put this in the air. And whether or not Gucci is going to be considered a cooperative or a rat or whatever people might say, I love Gucci no matter what. That's not something that I think about. I think people who cooperate make the best music. I don't give a fuck. But to the people who do care, I want to send this out there. If you're a gangster rapper, you shouldn't hire police if you're so allergic to rats and police. Because the first time somebody do something to you, they're going to go to jail, right? 6ix9ine and his boss, Elliot Grange, was rolling with police. The first time some gangster shit happened, Shotty and them went to jail. So the idea, I don't think rappers should be able to play both sides. So either it's, and let me kind of fix up and like make it succinct. If they claim Gucci snitch, maybe he did. This idea that, oh, he hired a cop, nigga, that should be called snitching because you're hiring the person who got to report the crime. So think about this. You can't get away with, nah, I ain't had to tell. I had the cop with me. He told. Bro, you basically told. If you're a street dude, don't hire the guy who is going to tell. If you're trying to keep it in the streets. But the reality is nobody's keeping it in the streets. Pooh Shiesty just forgot the memo. I thought King Von taught him, and I thought Dirk told him, this idea of keeping it in the streets, we're going to keep it at the precinct. It doesn't exist. Every one of your favorite gangster rappers, except the few that, you know, they're either not here or like one of the few exceptions, it's like niggas like Pooh Shiesty. That, and I'm talking about big rappers. Some of these guys can't afford it. I got to be honest. Some of the guys can afford it. So I'm not saying they're real. Just that they can't afford it. But if you got like an A-level rapper and they're rolling around, they probably are rolling around with police. You know why? Let me tell you this. Unfortunately, I love security. You know me, I hire security everywhere I go. But most security guards, they don't have their license to carry everywhere. They don't have proper credentials to move how they need to move. Also, when they're moving around certain shit, because they're security and not law enforcement, they really are just, they're just seen as a guy with muscles. When you have off-duty police with you, I said this one before, I'll give probably the same story I've told 2,000 times. At the NBA Youngboy concert, it is crazy back there, is whatever. The police is out there, they're 400 deep. 400 deep. This is in, what do you call it again? Was this New Orleans? Yeah. It is so crazy. Aiden Ross landed. And he landed at a private airport. And he had 6 off-duty. Was it New Orleans? Yeah. Off-duty New Orleans. Was it New Orleans? I think it was. New Orleans police officers with him. In the back, everybody and their mama can't get in. Everybody. I'm going to be honest with you. And this is the difference between security and police. Man, them police with Aiden walk right through the shit with a gun on the hip, nigga, in the arena. Your bodyguard ain't doing that. Your bodyguard getting patted down, like take your shoes off, TSA shit. The cops, nigga, they had their badge right here or right here, gun on their shit. And it's clear that they work in private security because, but they're letting you know who they are. So the other cops are like, oh, go ahead. I know you. Go ahead. Yeah, nigga's off-duty cop. So in reality, everybody use cops. But all I'm trying to say is we can't spare Gucci Man with the cop thing. The moment you hire the cop, you acknowledge that the telling's going to happen. Nigga, if I hired a cop, I would only hire a cop to make sure that if you die, it's legal. I want a legal death that we could celebrate. If you do something, the cop calls the battalion. Hey, yo, everybody come from the precinct. These pussy niggas trying to run down on act. We got to murder all these niggas. That's what I want. Yep. But the idea that some of y'all trying to give Gucci an out, like, nah, is because it's not like they fooled him and it was an undercover cop. That's what people keep saying. Undercover. No, he hired a policeman. He hired a policeman. It wasn't undercover. It wasn't a guy acting like he was security. No, he hired the cops. And a crime happened in the presence of the cops. So the cops did what the cops do. So as much as you want to call Pooh Shiesty stupid, I would caution Gucci to say, why sign street niggas and then bring the cops every time you're talking to them? That don't sound like it works out, does it? If you sign a bunch of street niggas who you know how they get down, why would you bring them to every time you talk to them, the cops is there, unless you plan to make sure they don't ever commit crime, and if they do, they get locked the fuck up. So the idea that Gucci is not part of this or didn't tell is like, it's ludicrous. You can't spin it. So you can't spin it. I mean, it's better if y'all use this whole, he's a clone shit. Okay, fine, he's a clone, right? Too much, okay. I want to remind y'all, the cop wasn't in the room, wasn't in the booth when Gucci was supposedly, I don't know if he was on his knees or whatever, when they were pointing a gun at him. He wasn't in the room when this other guy was in the execution, stance. Being honest. So, again, let me ask y'all a question, and I would like to ask hip-hop this. 85% of rappers in the B tier and the A tier hire off-duty cops. I'll tell you why. They want a guy who could bring their guns into everywhere. Yes, your security guard can't do that. The police officers can. If you go to New York City and you're going to get a bodyguard, you better get an off-duty cop, because 99% of people don't have a legit license to have a weapon in New York City. It's a really restricted place. They only allow law enforcement, Leos, and former law enforcement officers to have carry permits within city limits and to especially go and peruse around certain buildings. Why? They don't want a bunch of shootings. So if you feel like you got ops like that and niggas might, so you want niggas that's armed around you, you're gonna go get an off-duty cop. That's how it works. You get an off-duty cop. The off-duty cop will hold it down. But now here's the thing: when you get the off-duty cop and he's in the bulletproof truck with you, I know this as a fact because I remember with 6ix9ine, and I could tell with Shotty. No, first of all, I always tell this story too. When the cops was escorting 6ix9ine to Complex Con, because we was there, Shotty said Shotty's a criminal by nature. Shotty got 2 illegal guns on him and he's wanting to shoot somebody. Like, he's not gonna be like, oh, let me sit next to the fucking off-duty cop protecting 6ix9ine. He said, I'll take my own car. I'll take my own car. Yes, I'll take my own car. So that's the point what I'm trying to say. 6ix9ine had actual law enforcement off-duty people with him that if, that's when he ran into the whole thing with Slim 400. And if anything happened, so he had regular security and off-duty cops. And if anything happened, you're going to see it's over here. It's like off-duty cops and shit. All right, the off-duty cops, they're like, they fell back because they're not on the front line with you. Because 6ix9ine walked up to them. Oh, I think, yeah, this guy's a cop. Straight up cop. Now, granted, they're not there to fucking be tough with 6ix9ine. 6ix9ine got them with them, and 6ix9ine is tough as hell. Yo, 6ix9ine is banging blood on Slim 400, telling niggas to suck his dick. Of course you could do that. Nigga, the cops is right here. Nigga, the whole time Slim 400 and them, they were just like shouting back, and I'm like, yeah. Somebody said, snitching ain't snitching. This is how life goes, nigga. You're supposed to have the cops with you when you talk tough. You're not supposed to talk tough without the cops. The fuck I have, like, yeah. So yes, so you could, look, this ain't a cop. This is a cop. They all came with 6ix9ine. Yo, so that's one of the things where like 6ix9ine gets a pop and shit and be like, yeah, nigga, yeah, I went to Long Beach, I ran the Slim 400. Yeah, if they had done anything, they would have got their face lifted by police. You know what I mean? Which are these are his actual security. So these are his security. These are the cops, and he's walked back. You can tell this nigga. Look, you see the badge, nigga. You see the badge. Look, and I think Slim 400 realized like this is the police. Like you're gonna try to shoot 6ix9ine over the police shoulder. You know what I mean? They fell back. Yo, you got to hear 6ix9ine shouting. Yo, I ain't gonna lie. I shout too when I know the cops did. Look. His bodyguards is holding back, and the police is waiting for the shooting. Yo, let me tell you this, man. 2018 6ix9ine, undefeated, bro. Yo, he had the biggest security guards in history, and he got the cops. And he got the killers. He got everything. Shit, the way he was moving, he might even have the judge with him. Fuck it. Yo, 6ix9ine had the whole municipality with him. 2 firemen, 8 cops, 3 lawyers, judge over there. Yo, you can't fuck with him. Come on, man. Look, even the cop probably been like, you sure we getting that rate from the label, right? Yeah. So his security guards are trying to make sure he doesn't go there.
Did you call security?
Anyway, the point what I'm saying is that I'm in full agreement. Hey, if Gucci hired the cop, Gucci encourages snitching. Fuck it. That's it. That's the end of my conversation. And every gangster rapper, you see how Boosie started this PC conversation and everybody started like, because they really want to. I want everybody to respond to this. If you a gangster rapper, but you hire off-duty police and you rapping like if niggas run into you, they could get into gangster shit. Ain't you telling by having the cops with you? That's what they said about 6ix9ine. That's why they keep saying 6ix9ine's the police. But Gucci came to the building with the police. Gucci comes with the police. If you catch Jay-Z, he might have the police with him. Shit, no disrespect to 50. They said 50 used to roll with him too. Like, yo, you're worth millions of dollars, man. Like, this street rule shit is for like, you got to fool people with street rules, not actually live up to it.
Get the fuck out of LA, bro. Get out.
Yeah, so it fell back. You even see. I don't know if they have the full footage. They walked back. It's not even hidden because it was an escort too. They walked back to actual police cars. Actual police cars. Yeah, it was actual police cars. Anyway, that's the point. But, going back to this, it's important to know what was revealed in court.
Ron, thank you. Now to a new development tonight in the arrest of Memphis rapper Pooh Shiesty. He and 8 others are charged with kidnapping rapper Gucci Mane. Shiesty's father, Lontrell Williams Sr., and another Memphis rapper known as Big 30 appeared in federal court today. Action News 5's Caitlin Miller was in the courtroom in downtown Memphis. So, Caitlin, fill us in. What happened today?
Yeah, Joyce. So they're actually still in there. But what I can tell you is that a special agent from the FBI, Marcellus Hobbs, from the Dallas Violent Crimes Task Force, took the stand. And defense attorneys for Lontrell Williams Sr.
Okay, wait.
Ron, thank you. Now to a new
I'll tell you why
development
I'm
tonight
running
in the
back.
arrest of Memphis rapper Pooh Shiesty. He and 8 others are charged with kidnapping rapper Gucci Mane. Shiesty's father, Lontrell Williams Sr., and another Memphis rapper known as Big 30 appeared in federal court today. Action News 5's Caitlin Miller was in the courtroom in downtown Memphis. So, Caitlin, fill us in. What happened today?
Yeah, Joyce. So they're actually still in there. But what I can tell you is that a special agent from the FBI, Marcellus Hobbs, from the Dallas Violent Crimes Task Force, took this.
Okay. Now, I'm going to tell you why that's important. Okay? I'm going to tell you why that's important. Hold on. Give me 1 second. Yeah. Okay. So it looks like quickly they escalated it to that's a particular part of the FBI out of Dallas. So local police, it looked like they didn't have much, or they didn't want to just arrest these guys instantly, because they could arrest them instantly. That's why I keep telling you. Somehow this got to the feds, but it started with Dallas police.
Stand. And defense attorneys for Lontrell Williams Sr., Pooh Shiesty's father, and Rodney Wright Jr., also known as rapper Big 30, asked Hobbs a key question. Is there any hard evidence, like video surveillance, showing either man possessing a gun or threatening anyone? And Hobbs said no. He also testified that no concrete evidence was found in Wright's car or Williams' homes when they were arrested.
Okay, so Wright is Big 30. They didn't find anything that's incriminating, right? Now, obviously, I'm pretty sure they're going to check the phone, but none of the items, none of the watches, none of the rings. Now, we talked to Hernandez Govan, and he claimed that they were trying to get rid of, maybe not Big 30 in them, but like some of the other guys that was involved. They were trying to get rid of the ring, right? So they were trying to get rid of the ring, and they wanted, to hold up. Okay. They were trying to get rid of the ring, and they wanted to also get rid of the chains and the watch. So who knows if they did get rid of them, but they're saying they found nothing on the search of these individuals' homes.
But even so, the judge ruled there is still probable cause for both men and all defendants who appeared today based on cell phone data, outside surveillance video.
Okay, so cell phone data is what's the probable cause so far. Outside evidence.
Victim statements that.
And victim statements. Now, here's the defense if I'm Pooh Shiesty. Yeah, we're not denying that we went to the studio. Yeah, we went to the studio. We're about to make we're about to make some music. We're about to like talk about some contracts and stuff. We got in a shouting match, but that's it. And we just left. That's the argument, right? So already, this is kind of looking in Shiesty's favor a bit because even though it's probable cause to match the story, it's not something if I'm Pooh Shiesty I would deny. Like, you're not going to deny GPS evidence that came from your ankle monitor. You're not going to deny, the cell phones triangulate you. You're not going to deny being at the studio. You're not even going to deny being at the studio with Gucci. What you're going to say is that we didn't hold him at gunpoint. We didn't force him against his will. We didn't threaten to kill him. And anything of the contrary is hearsay, it's bullshit. And then they got to rely on these guys, which is the victims. They can't, the CW, who is the cop, he could help out with certain things, but the main thing got to come from the three guys in the room. Well, shit, this is hip hop. Remember, he's keeping it in the streets. Maybe these guys change their tune. Maybe they don't want to testify. Maybe they don't want to give a written affidavit. Maybe they end up publicly denying that they ever talked to the cops. Maybe there isn't matching because usually you want an incident report. So even though they claim Gucci said this, they should have Gucci write on a piece of paper that they're going to add to the file with his signature. Is it on body cam? Does Gucci say it there? Is there maybe audio or video that exists of Gucci maybe elsewhere later on saying, that shit ain't happened? Is this all hearsay? Because everything they have concrete puts them at the spot, but this isn't a bank robbery, right? Where like a big part of your defense is, nigga, I didn't even go to the bank. Somebody accused of a bank robbery, a big part of your defense would probably be, I didn't even go to the bank. How could I rob the bank? Oh, okay. Well, here's the thing with this situation. Oh, no, we did go to the studio. No, we're just going to make a song. We just didn't make it. We're watching football. Remember they said they were watching football on the thing? We were just watching football. We just left. We just left because he got a call from his PO. We just left. Okay, how do you know he kidnapped him? So Gucci got to talk. How do you know he kidnapped him? That's the thing. How do you know he fucking kidnapped him? Now, people are pointing out that it's not proof, but, this is why they want to use lyrics against motherfuckers in court because a motherfucker's MO, modus operandi, usually kind of bears out if he's really like that with how he talks anyway. He tells you how he going to give it up. And people point to Pooh Shiesty saying he been rapping that this way for a long time. Check this out.
I rob a rapper right out the session. Give me them keys and they're watching it naked. I need them Cuban links and them Bugattis. I no more posting no.
The craziest part about it, he's with Gucci in the video. Gucci's vibing to this song harder than a motherfucker. Not realizing he might be the rapper that get robbed next.
IG and flick, my robber rapper right out the session. Give me them keys and they're watching it naked. I need them Cuban links and them Bugattis.
Oh, nah. Yo, when I seen this, I had to ask myself, is this nigga a time traveler? Is this nigga a time traveler? Everything he said, he did. Now, you know what I realized, Chad? If you go back in history, all of the rappers who really are like that and they've been going crazy and they're doing their thing, they always look like they predicted the future, but in the past. For example, you know how they were trying to use Dirk lyrics and Dirk said, nah, we recorded that song before. Now, you know, the producer came out back in dirt, this and third, but you know, they wanted the indictment thrown out. Later on, the feds gave a superseding indictment and they backed off those claims. They don't want to, you know, push the issue on, oh no, he recorded this after the murder, bragging. But the lyrics was eerily like close to what actually happened. Eerily close. Now, you know what I've noticed about some of these people? And I keep calling them, this is like the Mount Rushmore of, if they said it, they did it. The Mount Rushmore of steppers. You get what I'm saying? The Mount Rushmore of motherfucking steppers. Okay, we got King Von up on that bit. We got Smirkio on that bit. And I definitely got Pooh Shiesty on that bit. When these guys are usually talking, it feels like they're rapping from the future because that's how they give it up all the time. Honestly. You get what I'm saying? That's how they give it up all the time. Or maybe it's alluding to things they've done in the past. Maybe things we don't know. So that's their MO, in a way. You know what, rapper? Also, the irony kind of comes down very close and similar to what they were accused of later. YNW Melly. His music is so vivid, but the things he said, it almost felt like he wrote it after the shit they accused him of. You listen to Murder on My Mind, you would think that whatever he was charged with, he's rapping about that. He's not. But that was showing his actual mind state. Clearly, right? His actual mind state of how he looked at things and whatever. It's a reason why it applied so much when it was recorded in the past. It applied to future actions. It's with any rapper who really like that. You go to Vaughn, you could go watch, you could go watch some shit. You can listen to music in his past and look at actions afterwards and they match. Why? He's just really rapping when he lives, honestly. So like Shiesty, I think Shiesty don't rob mad niggas. I'm not trying to tell him, I don't know the niggas he robbed, but I'm just saying he probably robbed mad niggas. That's how you give it up. So that the reason why we're shocked now, we're like, damn, this shit matched this new shit. No, it's probably another nigga you don't rob like that. You feel what I'm saying? So Melly's music looked like it's recorded in reverse. Before he's accused of whatever he's doing, his music describes it. Pooh Shiesty, he's the same.
So relentless, bipolar from all of the killings. Parents rode on McLean's before the McLaren. I had them staring all down Main, the terrace. Did it myself. Ain't no blemish on my rip. You can come see for yourself.
Okay.
Watch where you step. Mumbling like I'm real. Trapping it loud. My style, cracking the smile. I got a biblical payout. I put that shit on the bar to revival. I had to laugh, it kept me from crying. Said it was all good, but I watch as I buy pennies.
Let's get the tape.
Fitted, we still got evicted. Remember them days I was stuck in the creek. I had somewhere to sleep, but I didn't have a bed. Jumped off the porch, I wasn't going for shit. Had to talk to the block just to give me some bread. I was the man of the house, had to figure shit out every time Pops went to the feds. Had to do five.
I was a man of the house. I had to figure some shit out. Every time Pops went to the feds. I love reality rap.
No clip, I was busting that bitch. I was constantly for one in the head. Now,
and I'm gonna be honest, I believe this too.
Had to figure shit out every time Pops went to the feds. Had to do five, no clip, I was busting that bitch. I was constantly for one in the head. Now we got choppers with lasers and beams. We 375, 1017. Why Kermit got me this shit? I know dream. Big shots then Gucci like Shaq and Kareem. I got up and took it, couldn't wait on a blessing. Shaking them dogs trying to roll me a 7. They threw the police on me at 11. I been caught.
Damn, they threw the police on me at 11. Y'all hear this shit? They threw the police on me at 11.
I was here quick to send you to heaven. But wait till I point you out cause I'm ready. Might rob a rapper right after a session. Give me them keys and they're watching that necklace. I need them Cuban links and them Bugattis. Ain't no more posting on IG and flexing. I'm the one rapping but steady be stepping. I'm coming.
Yo, let me tell you this. Yo, you ever see somebody who like everybody's like, yo, this nigga funny as hell. Whole time he ain't never tell one joke. He just really, that's really him. That's just how he really think. That's how he really feel. But everybody just think it's a joke. I think there's a part on FDO that made me realize that every collab that Shiesty ever did with Lil Durk was basically like an NBA Finals of steppers, bro. That nigga said, don't let Dirk verse go to your head. Said, don't let that Dirk verse go to your head, nigga. Ain't no body slime as me. Matter of fact, he spent the whole time telling people how much he on some slimy snake shit the whole time. If you don't know what line he's responding to, is on Back in Blood, the lyrics where Dirk actually says, he says, and it's a line that everybody shouts out. He says, here we go. He says, Pooh Shiesty, that's my dog. But Pooh, you know I'm really Shiesty. Y'all know Shiesty was listening to this like, yo, Dirk, stop the cat, bro. Like, it's like one killer to another. It's like, come on, bro. Like, stop it, nigga. Like, yo, stop it. Yo, stop it, bro. Like, yo, stop it. Stop it. Oh, you did a thing for this? Oh, you didn't verify this. I never seen this.
I was bad. One bad, I was in the studio. His beat maker made the YC. So
let's get to that part. Right, it's buffering and shit. Like, Jesus Christ, genius. Step it up.
Bitch, come get it back in blood. We ain't masked up, no Dodge rigs. Niggas know who it was. Story shit just like the 80. Want some back, get it in blood. Yeah, you know who took that shit from you. Come get it back in blood. Back in blood, man. If I took it, it's up. Come get it back. That's the only way you get it back. For me, if it took it, no, it's up. Yo, nigga killer ain't dead. You somewhere, no RIP shirt. We had 300 shots up in the car before we picked up dirt. I've been rocking with Chicago heavy forever. Been fucking with Key for everybody. I've been tuned in way before like I was even rapping. So when we chopped it up and linked up, it made it perfect. None of it's bro. It's like it's dead by him. I'm rocking with the whole OTL, whole Chicago. Brr. You niggas who ain't got shit going, go grab a glizzy, get alert. Shots to G-Post, RIP, and Reezy, he in the third. Brr. Brr. I don't really know how it is like for the Memphis kid life. It's hard to be forced on them. You gonna lose somebody close to you like your brother or something at an early age. It's just gonna happen. You can't even dodge. We just play with your head and
He never did an alert breakdown on FCO, did he?
100-round drum, 100-round drum got 2 O's. One on might stand for the O. That called O block the O. Shout out to dude King Run. 20-some shot left up in the K-15, still in the Glock. Keep my door unlocked and stop. I like getting on feet, park the car. Brr, getting no clothes, doing dirt, I ain't showing love. $11,000 one in my right pocket.
This ain't me.
And in the club, I've been getting backhands and they stacking little backhands and having little money before I was rap too. So I been knew how to stack. Like it just came automatically. I ain't taking like, wow, I can't believe this, but I can't really believe it is going on, but it's something I gotta get used to. This shit keep bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. The blue faces up on me dirty, I went and got them out the mud. I took some, get it in blood, I don't give a fuck what we was.
This is another thing. This is another thing I knew this thing has been a robber for a long time. He said, if I took something, get it back in blood. I don't give a fuck what we was. I think this nigga probably robbed his. He probably robbed his cousin. Like, this nigga look like a... Bro, the whole time, if you even read the lyrics to FDO, all he rapping about is basically saying, I'm the guy you can't trust. Nigga said my grandma told me to keep my grass low. Whole time I'm the snake. Smell his plot from like 3 miles away. You can't out-snake a snake. Jesus. I mean, the guy been telling us he's just living his life. Fuck it.
But brr, don't just take that, like, take what I say and try to go and put it on your life.
What?
WordPress.com is
Fuck is
professional WordPress hosting.
All right, I gotta go
built
to
to
YouTube.
scale
All right, enough.
with no limit.
Yo, genius, man. Y'all gotta step it up, bro. Okay, here it is.
We ain't mad, Scott. I been knew how to stack, like, it's out the mud. I took some, get it in blood, I don't give a fuck what we was. Brr. Don't just take that, like, take what I say and try to go and put it on your life. Nah, all the kids in school, stay in school, chase y'all dreams. You know what I'm saying? This is what I'm rapping. Everybody can't rap this song, though. Other session, though. We in the same studio, though.
It's interesting.
Sipping what you sure. First on breaking news made everybody bad just out of jail.
Yeah.
Police took everything from me, so that's how I started it off.
How long you did?
No, I just got locked.
Oh, okay.
Got right out, bonded right out.
Yeah.
They raid. It was a raid.
Right. I mean, I know even on that record, like, because that's one of my favorite joints because you kind of personal on there. You giving your life and you kind of get to get an exclusive as to what's happening. I know you said, you know, one of your day ones turned cop on you, and then like what's that like? Obviously, we know, you know, on some street shit what that's like, but you know, I feel like now that's happening a lot. How bad did that like affect you? Like obviously it hurt, but like how much did it affect your life?
Bro, it could be one person on your team take the whole camp down. Even if it ain't happened yet, it still be going on.
Even his daddy.
Yeah, I wasn't even prepared for that. I ain't never had now one of my men I'm taking care of. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
It is crazy story.
Did that make you like move different after that? Like, you know, kind of just how you maneuver?
Yeah, and then it was from somebody I didn't expect to do it at all. So
Yeah.
now I think anybody will go turn police on.
For sure. Like
Yeah, so.
It's like you was talking to Gucci.
Yeah.
Now I think anybody will go turn police on.
For sure. Like
Yeah.
Is that look right there? Knew it was coming, man. That look right there? Knew it was coming.
Absolutely. I mean, obviously, you know, coming from, you know, when we coming from the inner cities, it's a lot of shit that you have to deal with. And we seen the untimely death, unfortunately, of King Von, you know, play out in public. And, you know, when you see that young guys that's hot in the streets, you know, like yourself, how much does that like kind of impact, you know, the way you do shit?
Yeah, it affects you a lot. It should. Like, you should learn off everybody's mistakes too. And like, especially if you're able to see and like just take heed from what you get out of it. Like, I learn from certain stuff. Now I won't do the certain thing that I seen happen with this situation. But
for sure. Because I feel like for as rappers, if you're targets, you know what I'm saying? Like they really on you, you know what I mean?
It been like that though. I don't know why people just say that more now. I think like last couple of years, a lot of stuff been happening to rappers lately. So it been like that though. Been like that. You risking your life every day.
That's a fact.
With these shows and whatever whatever.
Was I heard your dad was a rapper.
Yeah, he was a rapper when I was little, before I could even rap.
Yeah.
Really?
When he was rapping, he was saying I used to still write raps and stuff.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
Oh, when he was rapping, he said
I
he was
can't
writing.
I can't remember though. I remember one time I was little, I came up with a song, like a hook to it.
How'd it go? Tell me. Go ahead. You remember it? Come on, you remember it?
I said, "Watch out, boy, 'cause it be snitching." It's an old joke. When I was little, I remember though. My mama don't remember everybody.
Yeah.
And it was just
you know what I'm saying. But how was that for you? Just kind
of to there like this when you first left. So when I was becoming a man,
talk about the gang a lot in the team and how more. You got a couple fire records on there. Nervous or apprehensive, like when you see stuff like, you know, legally they trying to say courts, they try to use people's lyrics in, you know, different cases and things like that. When you see that, does that kind of make you think about your lyrics and want to change things up?
Yeah, they do, but just me, I don't be caring. I don't care. I'm gonna say it.
You just gonna go?
Yep.
Yeah.
They gonna have to come get me.
Yo, I ain't gonna lie to you though. It's gonna sound bad because people gonna think that I'm wishing. I like Pooh Shiesty. I'm gonna still bump his music all the time, and I wish he wasn't in the situation. But what he's saying is actually true. This is why I like Lil Baby's trash now, right? Like, but a lot of other rappers, like, unfortunately, you got to live a way that you can't get in trouble. But truth be told, when it comes to expression, you can't mute yourself. And I do think that's the every song from any rapper talking crazy, none of it hit like Pooh Shiesty when he did FDO. And you know what it is? No, except Youngboy shit. Youngboy talk like he don't give a fuck. Shiesty talk like he don't give a fuck. You kind of gotta not give a fuck, bro. Now, again, not giving a fuck and still doing crime or actively doing crime is a little wild, right? Dirk also talk like he don't give a fuck, right? You know, that's like the it's like the give and take. You got to kind of almost like play the middle a little bit with it, right? But when fans could see that you're scared to rap, like that's why remember when Thug got locked up at first and he dropped that album, or even Dirk's album now, where we know it's muffled. We know like whatever he would normally say, he can't say. It's not gonna hit the same.
Your lyrics want to change things up.
Yeah, they do, but just me, I don't be caring. I don't care. I'm gonna say it.
You just gonna go?
Yep.
Yeah.
They gonna have to come get me.
I hope not, man. We want you around. I need you know what I'm saying? I need Shiesty season part 2.
If I fit it in the booth at the time, I'm sad.
Yeah.
Nobody tell me.
That's it. Is it more like therapy to you? Like kind of therapy getting it out, or is it just?
Yeah, I be needing to go talk to him. We going through too much.
Yeah, for sure. Now tell me, what do you expect? Like, you know, like I said, you one of the hottest in the game right now. Show a lot of artists. If you got a feature request,
don't make this.
All right. Now, you know, a lot of people are talking about mentality, and people are quick to point out that maybe Pooh Shiesty's mentality never changed. And people go back to, you know, recently, I believe this might have been the stream the last day he was free. I think the police locked him up this day. But, you know, this is how he was talking. You know what I mean? Like, and for the people who might be like, no, he's an RP, I think he was actually addressing the chat.
Me and Key Glock got shit on the way, nigga. My soul just did some shit. I ain't blood, I ain't crip, I ain't Muslim, killing rumors, nigga. Try that shit on one of them other cabin rappers. I'm a shooter. I don't join gangs, I make them.
Damn, that nigga say I ain't a blood, I ain't a crip, I ain't a Muslim, I'm a shooter. Oh shit. I ain't gonna lie, man.
Type Shiesty in on Google, man.
Type it in on Google.
Shit gonna tell you something, man. I don't join gangs, I make them go read about me on Google, nigga. I'm gonna redo the federal contraband because I don't really think y'all could hear it over the phone and, you know, type of urge y'all got and shit. I'm gonna redo that bitch so I'm gonna make sure you hear me. Shoot the video so I can make sure you feel me. You know what I'm saying? Y'all couldn't hear this shit for real. It was so much shit being said. Yeah, man, Key Glock got shit on the way, nigga. My soul just did some shit.
Damn.
I ain't blood, I ain't crip, I ain't Muslim, killing rumors, nigga. Try that shit on one of them other cabin rappers. I'm a shooter. I don't join gangs, I make them. Go type Shiesty in on Google, man. Shit gonna tell you something, man. I don't join gangs, I make them go read about me on Google, nigga. I'm gonna redo the federal contraband because I don't really think y'all could hear it over the phone.
Nah, man. Anyway. People are still wondering, where did it go wrong? Where did it go wrong?
Cuffy, follow me.